No one.
Tenderize that Philly meat real good.
Tenderize that Philly meat real good.
Tenderize that Philly meat real good.
What? Could have been. Your man Louie T here with our all-star studded cast of super friends. We are short one, man, so we're gonna run cover 3 tonight. We're gonna let nothing behind us. Everything's gonna stay in front of us, deeper than the deepest water.
Well, no, that ain't how Dan Quinn run his cover 3. God, dog.
Hey, we gonna try to run it the right way, okay?
Wait a minute, man. Why y'all way up here, man? Don't I supposed to be up top somewhere?
Hey, nothing cheap, nothing deep around here, man. We keeping everything in front of us tonight. You know what it is. We got our guy Bad Diggity Dog from Bad Dog Sports. We got our guy Law Nation from Law Nation Sports, Law holding it down for the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, boys. And of course, yours truly, Louie T, holding it down for the Washington Commanders. Hey, man, it's been a long season. Long season. I can't wait for these last 2 weeks to be over with. I'm ready.
Me neither.
Oh man, so I know y'all gonna get on me about Sam Howell getting benched, and I'm here for it all.
I see my guy, my brother from another mother, LB. He said, "Don't worry, he listening." I see him in the chat.
Yeah. I see him too.
Hey, don't worry, you gonna get all this smoke tonight, bro. You ain't here to defend yourself, so you gonna have to take all these L's you gonna catch tonight, bro. So we're gonna start the show though. I wanted to start off with this before we get into the meat and potatoes of what we want to discuss, which is what has transpired over the last month or so since the last time we've met. And then, heading into the postseason, off season for the Giants and Commanders, postseason for the Cowboys and the Eagles, and what we see transpiring there. But I don't know if I've asked you this question or not. I may have, but I want to rehash this. If I haven't, I want to introduce this. What has been the biggest surprise to you in this division this year? Whether it's your team or somebody else's team in the division, what has been the biggest surprise to you? We'll start with you, Law. Biggest surprise that happened in this division this year to you? You had this notion going into the season about this particular thing, this team, whatever, what they would be or wouldn't be, and how it's drastically changed or been something different than what you thought.
I got two for one. First and foremost, since LB is not here, I'm just going to say this for the Eagles. They got to be surprised themselves to be 11-4. We didn't foresee them beating the Chiefs or the Bills or to go on that run that they did, but they are 11-4 and they got 2 games to go to see whether or not they can close out this division. But the other surprise, which is quite normal, is that the Dak Prescott slander is still here, even though Dak Prescott is playing out of his mind. This is by far his best season. Completion percentage right at 70%. Passing north of 104 QB passer rating, and still got the quality of yards, and he kept the interceptions down. The talk of the town during the offseason when we were out there in Oxnard is how many double-digit INTs will he have at this point? And he's been excelling in all of those measures. So salute to Dak Prescott. And we can still say this with a straight face because there's no Ezekiel Elliott with a different play caller on offense as well, and the offensive line been in shambles. But for us to be 10-5, that's a major surprise for the Cowboys community at this point. And we wanted this team to be even better.
Right. Bad Dog.
Honestly, I think it's the Eagles' offense for me. I just the complete inconsistency. The Eagles are nothing like they were last year. I think a lot of teams feared the Eagles. They just beat everybody up at the offensive line. If Jalen Hurts wasn't turning the ball over, they could run it, they could pass, they could do a lot of things. This year, they're turning the ball over. They're struggling on offense. They've been very inconsistent, and they're squeaking by, teams that they should have blown out. They should have blown us out. They were up 20-3 at the half. They had to struggle to hold on and win. They gave up a 70-yard touchdown pass from Tyrod Taylor to Darius Slayton. That's our longest touchdown pass of the year. Their secondary is really bad. They're not getting to the quarterback the way they did last year. And Jalen Hurts has turned the ball over a ton this season. and they're still 11-4. So you got to give them credit for being 11-4 because your record is, what it says it is. But when you look at them play against the Cowboys, who right now, if I had to say, I think the Cowboys are better than Philadelphia. You take a look at the last time they played. I mean, Dallas ran them over, and obviously they didn't match up at all with San Francisco. So you're talking about two of the better teams in the NFC at this point. They just killed them like they weren't competitive. And then they go into Seattle and they lose a Drew Lock. Now, this is not an Eagles team that you saw at all last year. So to me, I think it's the step back that the Eagles have taken overall. Again, they're still a really good team, and don't get me wrong. I mean, people are gonna be like, "You're a hater, bad dog." And yeah, I am a hater. I freaking hate people denying this. Anybody that's being honest with themselves, any Eagles fan who's sitting there being honest with themselves, has got to look at that team and go, "They're nowhere as close to what they were last year. They're a very good team. Last year, I feel like they were a great team." I just taking a step back the way they did on both offense and defense has kind of been surprising to me. They have not hit their stride. At the beginning of the year, like, okay, new coordinators, kind of finding their way. They're still winning games. Down the stretch here, they really haven't looked good. So that's been kind of surprising to me.
I'm going to piggyback off of that. I think that's 1B for me. And it's really not their entire team. I thought their offense, honestly, with the Eagles, a lot of what I've said has come to fruition. One of the things I said earlier in the season is that offensively, this is a better team than it was last year, but it's poorly coached. It's worse coached than it was last year. Defensively, I thought they were worse off. They lost a lot of players, and LB and other Eagles fans tried to dismiss the fact that there was no more Kaiser White. The defensive tackle that went to San Francisco was no longer there. There was no more TJ Edwards. There was no more
CJ.
CJ, Gardner Johnson, and all of the guys that they had lost on that defense. I talked about it. They dismissed it, and they thought it was addition by subtraction, getting rid of their defensive coordinator, and that hasn't come to fruition. But I am shocked at how bad they've played defensively this year. I didn't expect that. Offensively, I could see a step back because I kept telling them Shane Steichen is a much bigger part of what you were doing than you think. But I thought they'd be better defensively this year, just off of the strength of being coached better, right? Their front hasn't done anything really. Like, I know the young guys that they've got inside from Georgia have been, solid this year, and the rookie has played really well,
Right?
Jalen Carter, but they're not really getting to the quarterback. Nobody's really afraid of that pass rush. But I think the biggest surprise for me this year was, and I don't know why, I guess I thought the Giants would have been better than what they've been this season. I just looked at on paper. If you'd asked me, and I said this at the beginning of the season, if you asked me who was the most improved team, who made the most upgrades to the roster before the season started, I would have told you it was the New York Giants. And I did tell you guys it was the Giants. And I'm actually interested to see how this season goes. Now, I'm not a Daniel Jones believer, so I didn't know if he could replicate what he had done the year before, but I respected what their coaching staff had done. And then you look at the additions. Bobby Okereke has been phenomenal. He's everything I thought he was going to be.
He's awesome.
And then some.
Yeah.
They got contributions from guys that we didn't even think about. This McFadden kid at linebacker, are you kidding me? How well he's playing this year? What?
Perfect guy for wing system, man.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. Fifth round pick out of Indiana. I mean, listen, Joe Shane's done a good job for the most part with the draft. So
Yeah.
I gotta roll with Joe Shane. I mean, I agree with you, Louie. I thought the Giants would be better. Like, maybe not record wise. I think I had us at 9-8 or 10-7. So obviously that was
better, right? That's better.
Yeah.
But I thought the Giants could compete with Dallas and Philadelphia. Now they did. They competed with Philadelphia, but it's Philadelphia is not as good as I thought they did.
What y'all do against us? I just want
we got the holy hell beat out of us by you guys twice. But I did. I thought that I thought we could beat Seattle. I thought that we could. I'm trying to think of who the hell. I thought we'd beat the Saints. I thought we'd beat the Raiders and. And we got blown out by all those teams. And granted, injuries play a part in it, but I'm not going to sit here and blame injuries. It's next man up. It's about having depth. Darren Waller was disappointment this year. Isaiah Hodgins was a major disappointment this year. And I'll be honest, I think the coaching was a major disappointment this year. Brian Daboll's made a lot of mistakes, a lot of things that they did well last year they're not doing this year. A lot of intangibles, a lot of things that don't show up in the box scores, the inability to substitute.
So what do you think you are away, Bad Dog? A quarterback away, or what do you need? What do you need?
Well, I think you start with the quarterback without question. I think that Daniel Jones, and listen, man, I get in these arguments on Twitter all the time. I did a Daniel Jones Colt video at the beginning of last year.
Before the season, Daniel Jones was better than Dak Prescott from a lot of people's eyes.
Yeah,
but
well, listen,
that's not the situation now. We all know who's better, but keep going.
Daniel Jones fooled me. I thought that he'd be better. I said, well, listen, the system helped him out. Mm-hmm. He's getting rid of the ball quickly. He's not turning it over. He corrected mistakes. Second year system, add Waller, add, Jalen Hyatt, add Paris Campbell. Like, she's gonna have a good year. I felt like he could ever take a step forward, and he didn't. And it's not so much his production even that makes me say you have got to get another quarterback. There's two reasons you got to get a quarterback. If you're the GM, it gives you job security. You can't hitch your wagon to Daniel Jones and then have a guy like Jaden Daniels or Michael Penix or Drake May or whoever you may have available to go out and ball out, because then you're going to lose your job. Mm-hmm. You draft the rookie quarterback, let Daniel Jones start next year. He ain't going anywhere with a $16 to $9 million cap hit. You have now given yourself extended life because your clock ain't going to start until the rookie starts. But on top of Daniel Jones kind of regressing and not playing well when he was in there, we're talking injuries and serious injuries. These are not, he's got a pulled calf muscle or he pulled a hammy. He's had 2 neck injuries now. And now a torn ACL. And we all know his legs are a big part of what he does. And since Saquon, everybody recovers from an ACL differently. Robert Griffin III was never the same. Mm-hmm. I feel like Saquon lost his explosiveness after the ACL tear. Certainly don't have the explosiveness he did as rookie. He's still a good running back, but not like he was before that happened. You just can't. You can't sit there and go, we're going to ride with Daniel Jones, and then he gets hurt again, and then you're stuck. So yeah. I think that's where it starts. But listen, the quarterback ain't going to fix everything. There's a lot of holes in this team. But I do think that the quarterback's the most important position, the most dynamic position. If you're going to change your franchise, you got to start there. You can't sit there and wait for everything to be perfect around. You can't sit there and go, we got to wait for the offensive line to be great, because that's not how it works. When your offensive line is great, you're going to be a good team, and you're not going to draft a great quarterback. So just look at C.J. Stroud. What's he done down there in Houston? He ain't got a great line. What did Joe Burrow do in Cincinnati? They ain't got a great line. People like Patrick Mahomes sucks this year. He ain't got a number one receiver. Look at him. The guy's still putting up great numbers. They're not Patrick Mahomes numbers.
Right.
Great numbers,
Yeah. And I think that's, the part that's been somewhat surprising to me with the Giants is that I put a lot of stock into their staff. Because the job they did last year was phenomenal. And I thought with the additions that they brought in and some of the guys that kind of surprised me this year in the way they've been playing, I just thought they would be better. I even picked them to beat Dallas in week 1. I got sucked into the hype early in the season. It was going well for the first about 8-9 plays of the game. Man.
Yes, it did. It looked good. It looked good until Andrew Thomas full start, and there goes their season. Oh, man.
Literally, if we could point to one play that changed everything, I don't know if there's a single play that literally changes the course of a season, but that one Andrew Thomas
full start, man.
They have changed the
and you know what, Louie? That's something we've done. Season. That's something we've done all year. Things on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, the full start, to delay a game. That's the stuff they didn't do last year. The Giants aren't good enough to overcome mistakes like that. And that's why they've lost the games they have.
You guys did you guys beat the Bills? Or you guys came close?
No, we came close.
I did a better job.
We came within a yard. We came within a yard of beating them.
In a yard, yeah. How's Sam Howell doing over there, Louie T? I'm just asking because I heard some news. I was looking at my phone, and they said they started Jacoby Brissett.
I was gonna leave it alone because you know me on Twitter. I have no problem letting them know on Twitter that Sam Howell is booty. I'll let him.
You've been consistent. You've been consistent. You see, I got the hat on. I'm not running from it. Right? I'm not ducking.
You don't want to take the hat off, man.
Nah, man.
You don't want to put Brissett time for your mind or something.
I still think the kid can play and play well in this league. I told y'all this from the second meeting we had this season. I said it was the week 8 Super Friend stream, and I told you we had just lost to the Giants, and I told you Eric Bieniemy sucks. I was like, he's the worst thing that could have happened to us, and we thought he was going to come in here and be the savior, and he was anything but. And it continued. It didn't get any better after that, and I've been adamant about how negligent they've been with Sam Howell, and he finally broke, man. He literally the Seattle Seahawks game. He did it again. He took us down the field. He tied it at the end. He gave us a chance. The defense blew it again. And that was like the last ditch effort right there. That was like the last time we saw this guy look like a credible NFL quarterback. And, the next week we lost to the Giants again. He was awful. And it's just spiraled out of control. And again, I put it right at the feet of the offensive coordinator, and not to tell you that Sam Howell doesn't have his faults and he didn't play well, right? And the protection has actually gotten better. The teams we've played against haven't really, pressured the quarterback as much. And but they've pounded into his head, got to get rid of the football, can't take sacks. You got to find incompletions, and you can tell he's in his head now, and he's not staying in the pocket like he was earlier in the season. He's not delivering the football. He's looking for a way out instead of looking down the field to find out where he needs to go with the football. He's not trusting his eyes, what he's seeing. Everything is off schedule. Nothing is in the timing and rhythm of the play. And you can see a guy struggling, searching for answers, can't find it. And the worst part about it is Eric Bieniemy never threw him a life raft. They're watching this young quarterback drown, and he never once offered.
Is he hurt? Is he hurt?
No, he's not hurt, man.
Why they gonna help to scratch a young developing?
What did I tell you he was? I told you he's Daniel Jones. It sounds just like Daniel Jones. It's the same thing.
It's different.
Except for your guy was a 5th round pick. Ours was a 6th overall pick, and ours is getting paid a lot of money. Yours is not.
Because these 8 quarters, left. He can get something. He can learn something. He got 8 quarters left for this year. Why not just let him start these 8 quarters?
You got to get him out of there. That's the problem that I have is like, what are we doing here? Like benching him against the Rams was the stupidest thing ever because it led to all of this.
Okay.
They benched him in game against the Rams when he was struggling, but it wasn't to the point where, he needed to be benched. And then that psychologically, what does that do to you as a young quarterback? You get pulled out of the game, right? And then he played even worse against the Jets. He was awful against the Jets. But so I'll give you an example. He's been let down by just about everybody, right? So the first play against the Jets, Bieniemy tries to, give him a shot to get off to a fast start. We throw a wide receiver screen, right? A slot screen to Curtis Samuel. And it goes right through his hands and hits him in his face mask and he drops it. Okay, 2nd and 10.
Right.
The next play, we try to roll him out. So you would think after a 1st and 10 incompletion, which you were probably banking on getting 4 or 5 yards minimum off of this little slot screen, you're going to come back with a run, right? Nah, not exactly. So we go sprint out to the left, which I hate because he's a right-handed quarterback. So now he's got to throw across his body. And we love to do this, right? This is an Eric Bieniemy staple. We're going to sprint him out to the left so he can throw across his body because that makes a lot of sense. To the short side of the field, I may add. This is excellent work. So, of course, he goes sprint out to his left, sees his tight end, right? It's a condensed area, but the tight end's open. And this is going to be a gain of 6. Right through his hands, off his face mask, into the hands of a Jets defender. That's his first interception. 2 plays in, right? Like, you can't make this stuff up, man. And then it just spiraled out of control from then. Then in his final pass of the season, which will probably be this interception he throws, Curtis Samuel is running the same route every time he lines up in the backfield. There's no variety. There's no variance. He runs the same little in route, out of the backfield. They're in zone coverage, and the linebacker doesn't even, respect him doing anything but running an in route. He drives on it. Curtis Samuel slips and falls. The ball would have hit him right in between the 4s, the slashes on the 4 on his jersey, and he falls down and the linebacker picks it off. It's ridiculous, right? But of course, that gets charged to his account, and they benched him after that. Jacoby Brissett did what he did the week before. He came in and he played well, which you expect a veteran quarterback to do.
Right.
But Sam Howell has been let down by his skill players. Like, these guys have not made plays for him this season. They fumbled the football. You know, they've dropped passes. He's missed open opportunities too. Again, he's not perfect in all of this. He's had opportunities to make plays and he's missed guys. He's been inaccurate at times. He's vacated the pocket before he needed to. There's been guys open down the field. He just didn't see them. There's been things on his end that he didn't take care of, but that's what you expect from a guy who still doesn't have a full season's worth of starts under his belt and his second different offense in as many years as he's been in the league. So I feel like had he been given a better opportunity, when you get a young quarterback, you think you're going to get short pass. Like, we were told this was a variation.
Well, before you go into all of those details there, heading into the 2024 season, and you already pretty much got one foot out, or you got both of your feet out on EB.
But I told you that 2 shows ago.
So wait a minute, bro. So next year, you're willing to rip the Band-Aid off, right? And then go into another season with a whole new offensive coordinator and the third offensive coordinator for Sam Howell?
Well, yeah. Well, Howell won't be the quarterback next year. That's the problem.
Oh, you're gonna get rid of him completely? Yeah.
Well, he'll be here. I mean, he's
gonna be a quarterback.
He'll be the backup quarterback, but they're draft. Law, we got the number 3 pick in the draft right now.
Take Brock Bowers.
Oh my God! I forgot about that. Who y'all drafted?
I mean, you got to know how Warner had on, man. You got to believe in Sam Howell.
You got to believe.
No quarterback.
Offensive lineman out there, man.
Quarterback. Leave him alone.
There is no way the new GM that comes in here is going to roll with Sam Howell.
That's all right. We're going to trade up in front of you with Arizona. We're going to get our quarterback.
You're going to have to. And Arizona's in a great position because the 3 teams directly behind them all need quarterbacks, so they can
we're trading with
the highest bidder.
Oh my God!
To come up and get,
because Kyler Murray can't go anywhere for 3 years,
right? And they're not. And the beauty of it,
y'all gonna end up getting a quarterback that you don't want. That dude from USC.
So
I want Caleb Williams.
Now Louie T. I think Louie T. has some words about Caleb.
I want Caleb Williams.
I don't love Caleb Williams.
I'll take Caleb,
but I take him in a heartbeat.
Hold on. So you'll take him?
Yeah, heck yeah, I take him.
He's gonna need an NCO hat or what? And we NWO. The new Williams order.
So here's the thing about Caleb Williams that people are starting to point out. A lot of his damage comes off schedule. He's not as clean from the pocket, and he's not a big guy. Like, they got him listed as 6'1", 220. I believe he's about 220. He's a thick guy, but it's height wise, he might be 6 and some change, like 6 feet and some change. He's not a big dude. So here you go. You know, I want a big, tall quarterback, right? I want a big 6'4" dude. Honestly,
big Drake May.
We might. That's what we probably gonna end up, because I don't see the Bears.
Take another North Carolina quarterback. What the hell?
I mean, it'd be a weird situation, be a weird dynamic, but because those two were together at North Carolina.
And of course, the Bears took Mitchell Trubisky. Listen, I don't want Drake May for the simple fact that I have PTSD from drafting Duke quarterbacks. No ACC quarterback for me, please. Just leave that conference. Yeah, I know that's what is that called? The helmet scouting or whatever.
Yeah, you're scouting the helmet, not the
player. I just don't want. I don't want nothing to do with that conference, please.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels, I'll take Michael Penix, whatever. But
I'm
that's the dude.
I'll take Williams. I'll take May. I don't want any parts of Jaden Daniels. He looks the part of an NFL bust to me. If you watch a lot of his big plays, like they're deep balls and they're poorly underthrown, and defenders not looking, and his guys come back and catch it, and he's running around.
A lot of the NFL though are back shoulder throws, underthrows.
Yeah, that's not what that is though, Bad Dog. It's different. Back shoulder throws are about timing and precision.
No, I know that. I'm just saying a lot of balls are underthrown. Well, receivers in this day and age make a ton of adjustments.
They do, but that's not what I'm not looking for that in college.
My two guys from day one have been Caleb Williams and Michael Penix. So those are my two favorites. They have been. People want to talk about Michael Penix. I don't know where these rumors come from. Oh, he tore both ACLs. No, he didn't. Yeah. He tore his right ACL. He came back too early. He tore it again. was 5 years ago, and they dealt with a shoulder injury. When he was in Indiana, Indiana was actually competitive. Goes to Washington, almost a Heisman Trophy winner. They're going to compete. They're competing for a national championship. He beat Bo Nix in Oregon twice. So I've always like, and they're like, he's old. I mean, the guy's 23. What was Joe Burrow when he came out of college? He's 24, right? That's not old.
He was a little older, yeah. But
That's
yeah,
not old, though. 23. That's less than half my age. I'd kill to be 23 again.
Right.
Like age for quarterback. This is in the NBA. Age doesn't really
Right.
matter.
Unless you're Brandon Whedon or the other guy.
He was like 27 or 28.
Yeah,
that's a little different.
It's a little different when you're that old. But
that old. Yeah.
You're not going to really kill. I mean, because with the way that the league is set up now, dudes playing into their 40s. It's not even I mean, if you're really, 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 really good, if you're like a Hall of Famer, you can play till you're 40-something years.
Yeah. So. I would hope that he got old. Whoever the hell we take, I'd hope that he got old with the Giants. That's what you want. You want your quarterback for the next 15 years in your draft, you know?
No doubt.
So, yeah, it's unfortunate what happened to Sam because I know he can play.
We try to tell you, Louie. We try to tell you.
Look, I'm going to tell you right now, bad dog. I'm telling you right now, if a coordinator like Sean McVay gets his hands on Sam Howell, look out. Somebody with some talent, somebody that's actually knowledgeable.
Daniel Jones, I'm telling you, that's what I see. I see Daniel Jones. Got talent. He's got some talent. But
he made plays that Daniel Jones has never made in his NFL career. He did that in 10 games. This highlight package from his first 10 weeks dwarfs anything you can put together for Daniel Jones in his first, 5? What are we in 6 years? 6 of Daniel Jones?
That's not true.
I'm telling you right now.
You can take all the games Daniel Jones played against you and put him up against anything Sam Howell did.
Great throws in any of those games. His best play might have been a 70-yard run for a touchdown that got called back due to a phantom hold call.
You're kidding me? He threw a ball right in Darius Slayton's hands. He dropped it.
It wasn't a good throw, bad dog. That's why Darius Slayton didn't catch it.
Catch the ball.
He should have.
It was a good throw. Catch the ball.
If that ball was dropped right in the breadbasket, it would have been an easy catch. He had to stretch. You can't make Darius Slayton stretch, and you know that. You can't make him stretch for the ball.
Stop.
You know that.
Stop. Sam Howell got a lot of meaningless yards, and they were getting their doors blown in.
Don't do that. Don't those plays that I'm talking about. Like a lot of people, when you don't watch, that's what you say. Oh, he's got a lot of stats and meaning garbage time. Now,
true.
Man, I wish LB was here so we could talk about Hurts, man. It's they gave my guy.
He don't got to be here. We can.
They said regress. They called regress Scott last year. They remember they gave my guy Dak Prescott the regress Scott, but we got to call Hurts regress Hurts now. He got to have the name Jalen regress Hurts or regress Hurts or regressing Hurts. You got to put some type of name with that and give him that because man, he's looking like he's a different person out there. What's going on with that? Louie T,
trying to stretch out the jersey at the back like the Hulu commercial. Hurts has regressed. Hurts or whatever. You're trying to stretch the jersey. So let's talk about the Eagles. All right. So the last time we were here, I sat in this very seat and told LB, I said, LB, y'all walking a dangerous line here. And his rebuttal was, we winning games. We winning. And I said, your defense is ass. And he didn't want to take
secondary's bad.
I said, your defense is ass and you're barely getting by. And he's like, how many games did they cost us? You remember him saying that over and over again?
Yeah. I remember because we talked about the drop in KC and Gabe Davis turning the wrong way. I mean, they're two lucky breaks away from being 9-6.
Absolutely. And he wasn't trying to hear it because at the time they were 10-1. Fast forward 4 weeks later, they've lost 3 out of the last 4, and they got
to struggle with us. They struggled with a bad Giants team.
I will say this. If Olamide Zaccheaus doesn't run into their return man, and Boston,
I don't know what that was. That was hilarious.
It was crazy, man.
If he doesn't do that, I don't know if you guys come back. You're on the verge of getting blown out. It was 20-3, right?
I know we're on the road, but Louie, that's my point. They didn't put us away. They'd always put us away.
Yeah.
And then Jalen Hurts throws a pick 6. And he almost threw a pick 6 a couple plays before to Wk17, who just missed picking it off.
Yeah.
And they do the same thing, and Dory Jackson took it to the house. And if it wasn't for let's just face it, it was bullshit. John Michael Schmidt did not move.
Break it down, man.
Flies into the backfield. It's 1st and 10 Giants, and the Eagles 45, and we're down by 2. That whole thing changed everything because then we punt and then they go down and score and it's 27-18. It changed the entire complexion of the game. It was a terrible call. And then, of course, in the last drive, we all know Wan'Dale Robinson got tackled on the sideline. No flag. No flag. So the Eagles needed a couple of breaks, one call that went against us, shouldn't have, and one non-call that we should have got. But bad teams don't get these calls. Regardless, they had to hold their breath against a Giants team that was on the third-string quarterback, then benched him for the second-string quarterback. We had a ton of injuries. We had nothing to play for. We haven't won in Philadelphia since 2012 or 2013, whenever the hell Matt Barkley was our quarterback.
Yeah.
And they had to hold their breath. That is not a team right now that scares anybody.
It's not. And I'll piggyback off of that and say that I remember saying this multiple times. I want to see how this Eagles team handles adversity, right? Because they hadn't really faced it since Sirianni's first year, where he made the adjustment. And I got to give him credit in that first year for making the adjustment. He wanted to come in and call the offense a certain way, realized that Hurts was struggling in that offense the way it was being called, and shifted to a run-dominant, run-heavy scheme that centered around Hurts' skill set and strengths. And they really haven't had any adversity since, right? They made the playoffs that year. They come back the next year. They go 14-3, go all the way to the Super Bowl. And this year, you could see the makings of a little bit of adversity, but they have found ways to win. So when, winning is the best deodorant, right? But I'm like,
it is. Yeah.
If you start losing, I want to see, because that their locker room strikes me as one that can fall apart. There could be some finger pointing, right? The coach is one that is very emotional. He wears his emotions on his sleeve, right? And this fan base, right? I mean, they were booing the Eagles. So like this fan base is a very fickle fan base. I was amazed at how the Eagles fans were reacting after the loss to the Seahawks. You would have thought that they were 9-6 and that they were on the verge of missing the playoffs, and they had lost 5 games in a row and they were awful. You would have thought that they were just
I clicked the wrong button. It's all good. I closed out the wrong window.
You got to close out the wrong
window. On Twitter, I tweeted that out. Am I listening to them boo their team was music to my ears? I love hearing that.
It's amazing how quickly that fan base is fickle, right? They'll turn on this team.
Louie, the first half of the first game against Kansas City, they booed him, or not Kansas City, whoever the hell they played the first week of the season. They booed him going into the locker room.
Yeah, I mean this fan base is it's hilarious, right?
It's funny.
I mean, hell, watching LB was crying after the game against we trash, and we can't beat anybody. Like, he's in the car and I'm like, LB, bro, you 11-4 right now. I mean, you're 10-4 right now.
10-4.
I get it. You lost to Drew Lock. I get it. That's pretty damn bad, right?
It would have been worse if they lost us. They would have been on suicide.
That would have been the straw that broke the camel's back. But they figure out ways to win, and that's one thing that I say over here, that you can't take that away from them. And they got these last 2 games, and we'll be watching. We'll be watching really closely to see how they're going to finish. But you're right. They were about to implode. And then on my end, my Cowboys, we on a 2-game skid right now. So it's like all of a sudden the mastermind behind the defense, we having personnel issues. So
we gonna get to y'all.
Okay. I'm gonna let you get to it. I ain't gonna throw myself into the water. Let's just keep talking about the birds. Then come on, where them birds? Then
finish talking about these Eagles.
Finish off them Eagles.
I got some smoke for y'all too. So
finish tenderizing them Eagles.
Hey, first of all, has there ever been a soundbite that actually came to fruition? Like, you literally bathed Babe Ruth the shot at the beginning of the season. You called that shot. You pointed to the fence. You said, hey, 49ers are hitting a home run later. They're going to set us up at the end of the season. Hey, they're going to tenderize that Philly meat real good. Real good. Pause. And that is amazing how that kind of transpired, right? They beat them up, and then you turn around right behind them and you beat them up pretty good too. And It was crazy to see that happen. But, you know, talking about the Eagles and their struggles, and I talked about, and everything that I said was crazy because I was delusional, right? Because my team sucks. They always like to deflect from what the conversation is, and they want to talk about how bad my team is. Yeah, my team is trash. I get it. I understand. And you can talk about my team. That's not going to affect me none. You know, I don't have Super Bowl aspirations. You do, right? And what I'm telling you is don't ignore the warning signs. You ran through a lot of stop signs with Brian Johnson. How many quarterback draws can you possibly run with Jalen Hurts, right? Like, that's the offense. You get inside the 10-yard line, look for the quarterback draw, you know? And between him, the lack of, like, I don't know what DeAndre Swift did after that 2-game stretch where he was going crazy.
Right.
To Brian Johnson, for him to not use him.
He ran out of those plays.
Refuses to use him in a capacity that allows that offense to maximize their best talent, right? Because he's one of the most talented guys on that offense. He just doesn't touch it enough. And I can't understand that for the life of me. And so they've got issues on offense.
Wait, before you break that down, which one is true? Is Brian Johnson calling this or Sirianni? Who's calling it?
I mean, I'd like to think it was Brian Johnson that was calling these plays. I don't know if Sirianni's calling anything right now, but I mean, if they continue to struggle, he may have to jump in there. He may ultimately say, "Hey, I got it, man. Watch out," you know. But right now, it's Brian Johnson that's calling these plays, and you know what's crazy is when they were winning, he was one of the names that kept getting brought up for a potential head coaching job after the season was over. And I'm like, what? This guy hasn't been doing that good of a job to have his name mentioned in that breath. I think that's over with now.
Right.
But you know, they're struggling on offense, and Hurts as you said, he's regressed a little bit. I think he's still throwing from the pocket well. But the off-schedule stuff, him escaping the pocket, you remember when the 49ers beat them and Nick Bosa said, "Hey, we put the blueprint out there for on Hurts." And I don't know if that's true or not. Not everybody can do what the 49ers can do. Yeah. But he said, "Hey, we put the blueprint out there. If you want it, it's there. You know what to do." You know what I'm saying? And it'll be interesting to see how teams defend the Eagles now after seeing them struggle the way that they have. Defensively, it's gotten so bad that they changed play callers, right? They've given that over to the former Patriots and defensive coordinator and Lions head coach. What's his name with the damn beard? Matt Patricia, right?
Patricia, yeah.
So he's come in and he's calling the defense now, and he hasn't done a terrible job.
No.
But it's just amazing that they would make that change in season. Like, they're desperate. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, when adversity hits, they've shown the ability to be a team that will make adjustments, and there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, Hurts at the end of the loss against the Seahawks was like, you know, essentially, I don't want to say he was pointing fingers, but he's like, "Hey, we got to all be in on this, and we all got to be dedicated." And there's some dudes that ain't dedicated enough, right? Kind of calling out some of his teammates,
right? Right.
So it was a lot going on, right, with that team. And I don't know if this is a team that's going to handle adversity all that well, to be honest with you. So you see a lot of that with them. And I don't know if this is a team that I think is mentally tough enough to win a Super Bowl. And I know Bad Dog after the game was like, "Hey, they losing in the first round. If they get the Rams, it's a wrap for them."
Ooh, oh, wait a minute.
So I'm gonna let Bad Dog speak.
Go ahead, Bad.
I think any team in the NFC can take Philadelphia out. I don't think anybody's scared of them right now. They'd match up against the Seahawks. We already just saw the Seahawks beat them. The Rams are red hot right now. The Rams have a very dangerous passing game, and the Eagles' weaknesses are secondary. It's not a good secondary at all. Except the Giants are able to hit 70-yard passing plays on you. I mean, you got to start questioning your secondary when you allow 70-yard touchdown pass to the Giants. Okay, not good, especially down the stretch. We've seen them falter down the stretch. And again, I know if ifs and nuts or candies and nuts every day be Christmas. By the way, I hope everybody had a happy holiday. I really do. Hope everybody in the chat had a great holiday.
Yeah.
Whatever you wanted, whatever you did, I hope you had a great time. Hope you got all the gifts you wanted.
You almost got one.
I
almost.
I called the Christmas miracle at the beginning.
Me too.
Of the year. I was hoping. But, again, there's two games where Valdez-Scantling drops a touchdown pass at the end of the game. He dropped it. Ball was there. You maybe can't say you don't hold on and win, but they take the lead. Right. And then Gabe Davis, wrong shoulder. Game's over if he turned. So they got beat. I know that's what you were talking about the last stream, last Super Friends was that they got a couple breaks that the secondary got beat. And LB said, did we win? Yes, you won. But not because of the Eagle defense, because of the other teams making mistakes. So, again, Nakua, he's unbelievable. Cooper Kupp, Matt Stafford, that team could throw the ball all over Philadelphia because they're not getting to the quarterback the way there's not 70 sacks this year, but they got 39, 40. They didn't even get – how many sacks they have with the Giants? It wasn't many. We give up tons of sacks. Yeah. So, I think Seattle can beat them. I think Detroit can beat them. I'm not saying they will, but I think any team in the NFC has a chance to knock them off, except for Minnesota. Like if Minnesota. I think Philadelphia would take care of Minnesota.
Yeah, they'd take care of business versus those.
But the Rams, the Seahawks, we already saw it. They got good receivers: DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Puka Nacua, and Cooper Kupp. I mean, you guys obviously Lamb. I love, and Brandon Cooks. I think any team can take him out.
Any team, and it's a situation like that. But I just say the big reset button always happen when you get into the playoffs, and your team been a big component of that in 2007. Anything can happen once you get into the playoffs. So that's why I ain't gonna talk too much noise about it because they are still they are still a game ahead of us, and my Cowboys got to take care of business versus the Detroit and the Washington team. And for right now, this little skid that my boys been on haven't been a glowing one because, for one, we get blew out by the Bills, and then for two, our personnel decision or however we look at it versus the Miami Dolphins still didn't leave a shining remark against that team on a game that we supposed to been able to win. And the Cowboys, man, for the life of me, we just got to finish out strong. And that's all I'm waiting for, man. These next two more games, man. And I wanted to see how LB energy would be, if he was on his stream. But I can get a feeling that he's probably feeling like
Yeah,
not too confident about the Eagles.
There's a lot of questions, but you're right. I mean, a team that gets hot going into the postseason, definitely take it all. I mean, I know this as a Giants fan better than anybody. The last two Super Bowls we had, we got hot at the right time.
Right time.
We just took off. I mean, it definitely can happen. But like I said, the difference between last year's Eagle team and this year's Eagle team, it's pretty glaring. And I see people in chat going, I know a Giants fan ain't talking. Listen, I'm just telling you the truth. You don't want to believe it, it's fine. It's got nothing to do with my Giants being a bad team. It has everything to do with if you actually watch the way the Eagles played last year compared to the way they played this year, it's not even close. Last year's Eagle team would have beat this year's Eagle team by 2 or 3 touchdowns, without question. It was just a different team last year. It was a very dangerous team last year. It is not the same team this year. And again, your secondary is a major question. And the teams in the postseason can throw the ball around. You played San Francisco. You didn't compete. You played Dallas. You didn't compete. You lost to Drew Lock. And then you struggled with Tommy DeVito, and you struggled with maybe not DeVito. You guys are killing when DeVito was there.
Killing DeVito. Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not saying the Eagles can't make a Super Bowl because I think the only dominant team in the NFC is San Francisco. I think the NFC is wide open. I think the AFC is wide open. I think the playoffs are wide open.
The Ravens looking pretty good, man.
Ravens are good. They're definitely good without question.
And one thing they left, the 49ers were talking about blueprint. Technically, the Ravens can start saying, blueprint for the 49ers. They can get got. And what you got to do with the Niners, you got to run on those boys. Can't be afraid when they playing that quarters defense and they dropping everyone. And I know they got their guys to come downhill. But what on the other thing is on the defensive side of the coin versus Brock Purdy, he's not the same without Trent Williams. He became a pedestrian, right? He lost all of his superpowers when Trent Williams got up out of there. So hey, you put a little pressure on Brock Purdy, he look human. He can be moved.
That's anybody, without question. And Baltimore, I mean, I didn't even see that game. I just saw the safety when the official tripped Lamar Jackson in the end.
Yeah.
So they got to give 2 points, but I remember, I forgot what I think I came home and I just did like a post-game stream about the Giants and Eagles. And I forgot the game was on ABC. I couldn't find it. I'm like, I'm not turning on Peacock. I could have done that, but I'm like, I'm not doing it. Then I saw it was on ABC. I'm like, I missed the whole game. I turned it on, and Baltimore was kicking the hell out of them. I'm like, I missed that. So
right.
I don't know what had happened there, but
and what really was opening up to me, that happened at 49ers crib, That was at their crib, so they can't be touched. And like I said, Louie T,
you can't do it.
Wait a minute.
You can't do it. Don't worry about what Baltimore doing.
Hey, hold on, Louie T. Wait a minute. We talk about front runners and stuff like that. Hey, I'm not saying the Niners are front runners, but it seems as if though you jump up early on those boys and you fool around and say Brock Purdy without Trent Williams, without your boy Trent Williams, he looked very pedestrian. That's what I was saying.
Well, their offensive line is solid, but it's not great. And if you take Trent off of it, it's a basic offensive line, right?
Yeah.
They haven't spent a lot of resources on that line. They didn't re-sign the tackle McGlinchey. He went to Denver. And so they got they spent the second round pick on the guard from Notre Dame. And Aaron Banks, he got hurt though.
Yeah.
In the game, late in the ball game. And so that whole left side was compromised.
Yeah.
The right side is basic, right? But they can get away with that because a lot of what they do is to the left. If you look at a lot of their big runs to McCaffrey, they're to the left. And if you look at a lot of their quick pass game, it's to the left as well, right? Behind Trent Williams.
Behind Trent,
and Aaron Banks and those guys. So they've done a really good job of maximizing the talent that they have. But obviously, when Trent is not in there, it's a different offense. It changes a lot of what they do. And that game was crazy because they were moving the ball on Baltimore early, and they just kept turning it over. He threw the pick at the goal line. It was a bad read. He didn't see the safety, got picked off, and it kind of just it kind of just swelled from there. They struggled to protect the ball. He kept turning it over, and then freaky stuff started happening. Guys started falling down, and balls getting tipped in the air, and that one in the flats where the corner Stevens jumps up and bats it in the air, and then you got it's a double cat blitz, so they blitzed in both corners from both sides. Yeah, and one corner comes from one side, bats it in the air, and the other corner is coming from the backside, and he picks it off. Right, like that's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
And so it was some bad luck in there, but you also got to give the Ravens credit. They're the best team in the league record-wise for a reason. They got the number one defense in sacks. They got the number one defense in turnovers forced, and they got the number one scoring defense in the league. So
they sound like my Cowboys up all the way up to week 4, week 5. I know.
Once upon a time, before you started playing good teams.
Wait a minute, hold on. Now, see, man, you was cool to that point.
Before you started playing good teams.
So you mean tell me there's no blueprint? Because I think that on their defense, they do have a good solid front four, but they are banged up right now. And that game, the Ravens banged those boys up, and you got a bruised Trent Williams, right? And then you have other players that's kind of like wobbling around. So that's why they went and picked up Joseph Day, whatever his name is, for the interior, because they are a little bruised up on the defensive side. I think that with the Niners, they played a lot of I don't want to say bang, bang, not a gang stuff, but they play a lot of banged up football, and now it's coming back on them. I think that if you can fool around and catch them, even though they will have that bye week, but if you catch them while they're down, it's showing that you can get them while you are at their house too.
Well, so if they're healthy, if they're healthy, I don't think you're going to beat them in the NFC. I think so. Remember, Lamar Jackson is a one of a kind. Like, it's no other. He's a unicorn. They had trouble with containing him and keeping him in the pocket, other than the safety, and with the official tripping him, right? Like, he was masterful back there. They couldn't keep him in the pocket, and he kept getting away and extending plays and running, and that's backbreaking. When a guy can keep doing that to you, when you think you got him bottled up, and somehow he gets away and extends and makes something happen. True. So, you don't play Lamar every day. So I think they're going to be just fine. But to your point, when they've lost this season, it's been without Deebo Samuel. To me, that's the heartbeat of the Deebo Samuel and Trent Williams are the physicality. They bring the physical nature to that. Because to me, the beauty of the 49ers, what makes them so dangerous is they can beat you finesse,
Yep.
Or they can beat you physically, right? If you take away Trent and Debo, they no longer have that physical aspect now.
But they still have that force multiplier, which is CMC. To me, when they was talking about MVP and everything, it's a toss up between Trent Williams and CMC, right? They run to that left side, and CMC is so explosive. And if I ever been wrong on any player, it would be in CMC, because I thought that the first year when the Niners had, I thought that was what he was going to be, right? Or the tail end of the Carolina's years of CMC, I thought that was who he was going to be, an explosive back that get hurt, because he's doing so much. But that's not the case nor the scenario. With the Niners, CMC been healthy, and they are way, way, way above 500 when he's on the backfield or in the backfield, and he just make everything 5 yards into 15, 15 yards into 30, 30 to a touchdown. So I think that he is the force multiplier, and you can slow him down. You you got a real good chance of winning.
Yeah, they run a lot through him, but they got so many guys they can hurt you with. You still got to worry about Kittle. You still got to worry about IU. You still got to worry about Samuel. You know what I'm saying?
True.
They even got other little guys like Brandon, like Jennings didn't play in the game. Juwan Jennings was hurt, and that's another guy. I mean, the Eagles know about him. He took a defender and tossed him aside and ran for a touchdown against Philadelphia. Like, they're guys that they can go to, but to me, yes, CMC is the one that the straw that stirs that drink, so to speak, in San Francisco. But I don't think anybody else in the conference can do what they did to.
If my Cowboys score first, man, that's all.
All right, look, man. Guess
you had the number 2 defense in the league.
Y'all beat anybody good on the road.
Wait a minute. Let me just say this though. Miami Dolphins had the number 2 defense and the number 2 offense.
Mm-hmm.
Can you argue? I know your father, everybody watching. I know they had a nice day all the way up to the end. But can you argue that the Cowboys more so shot themselves in the foot than Miami winning?
Yeah, absolutely. But
that was against the number 2 team and the number 2 team on defense and offense.
Right. And Jalen Waddle got hurt, and that helped out your defense a little bit. Let's not act like he didn't like he finished the game. Okay? So let's not act like they were.
And we didn't have all Tyron Smith. That's equivalent to not having Trent Williams for the 49ers, right? Right. I'm trying to reach, man. Let me grab onto something.
You're trying to grab something over there.
Yeah, I'm trying to grab something.
Running back, instead of choosing violence, how about you choose the pylon and the touchdown? Right.
Right.
Let's not make things harder, right? Let's work smarter, not harder, right? But that's the Cowboy way.
Yeah.
Go out of y'all way to find ways to lose to teams on the road. So let's get on your Cowboys now. So let's switch gears, right? And let's talk about your Cowboys, because I sat here back in week 8 and I said, and LB's been saying this before the season started, right?
Right.
And I said, you can run on Dallas. And
True.
I had a bunch of Cowboys fans tell me I didn't know what I was talking about. The 49ers didn't run up the middle on us. They ran on the edges, and they ran when the game was already over and it was no longer in doubt. And, nobody's really running on us. And I'm like, okay, We'll see about that, right? Now, clearly, Jonathan Hankins is gone. That's the only guy you have with any girth that can stop the run for you, and he didn't play in that Bills game. I'm not, that's not lost on me. I'm aware of this, of course, but that's a problem. You can't be relying on Jonathan Hankins to stop the run. That's
why I say why we didn't go get the Joseph Day kid. But keep going.
So my problem, and this is why you drafted Mozzie Smith, right? He's
still learning.
He's not the answer inside to stop the run, and so that's going to end up biting you in the ass, because
he's really reaching now.
Look, I'm telling you.
Wait a minute, bad dog. How many years did it took Dexter Lawrence though?
Couple.
Yeah. So get off Mozzie, y'all. Y'all leave Mozzie.
Dexter Lawrence was a national champion, and we could see it, right? Like Mozzie Smith wasn't all that in college. He was solid in college. Y'all reached, even you admitted y'all.
Yeah, hey. Okay. Shout out to Mozzie, man. Keep going, keep beating
you might
me
need
up.
an interview with Mozzie.
Yeah. Now, I already had one interview with. I might want to take that interview down, because everything he said, everything he said ain't come through yet. But keep going.
Hey. So, understandingly so, you struggled stopping the run, but I've always said this: Dan Quinn has always, this goes back to his Atlanta days. Nothing has changed. He even in Seattle, it was the same way. He's always traded girth and size. Pause. A lot of y'all always get on me when I say the word girth. So, pause, okay? He's always traded size, girth, inside, pause, for.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog.
They always get on me for that.
Man. Come on, go ahead.
They always get on me. He's always traded those things for speed, quickness, and explosiveness.
Right.
And that's what he's done with you. I mean, look at Marquise Bell, right? This guy's a former safety that he's converted. This dude can't be any more than 250.
He's 205.
Look at that. I mean, the dude looked like a corner, and but he's making plays. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Right? He fits Dan Quinn's scheme, but he's light, right?
Yeah.
You got the Clark kid from LSU, Damone Clark, right? He's small.
He's a weak side linebacker that we got playing at Mike, and you already know, Mike. You want a true size linebacker there, but keep going.
You have look, Michael Parsons on the line when you're not rushing a quarterback is a liability. If he's not penetrating, I watched the Bills tight end take him and move him over 2 gaps on that touchdown run to James Cook to pretty much put it away when he flipped into the end zone. Right. He took him and physically moved that man 2 gaps. He started out at the C gap and finished at the A gap.
At the A gap forever. Okay. Let me ask y'all this too, though, since both of y'all are here. Where do you see Michael Parsons utilize at? From the outside looking in, you the coach, where you place him? Off ball, online, everywhere. Where do you place him at?
Everywhere, yeah.
Everywhere.
It's situational, right? It's situationally is what determines where he is. If we know it's a known passing down, he could be anywhere. I'm not going to just put him at defensive end. Like one of the big problems I had with Jack Del Rio as our defensive coordinator is that he never moved Chase Young or Montez Sweat around. Teams knew where they were going to be, so we can devise a way to make sure that they don't impact the game, right? The beauty of a Michael Parsons is, where's 11? You play Waldo with him, right? Where's 11? Right? He might be on the left side. He might be on the right side. He could be up the middle, right? He could be lined up inside on some Myles Garrett stuff over this guard, right? You just don't know where he's going to be, right? And there's ways that you can create matchups for him one-on-one where they can't double team him if you want to isolate him. Because you're putting him in positions where they can double and triple team this man, right? You're making it easy on the defense. You can put him in situations where it's him one-on-one with the running back. That's a win every time for y'all, right? It's him one-on-one with a tight end. It's a win every time, right? There's ways you can set it up for him, but to just leave him as an edge rusher and just leave him out there on every snap, I think that's negligent on y'all part.
Yeah, I mean, move them all around. We used to do that with Justin Tuck all the time. Just move them inside, outside, wherever. Like Louie said, I would move them all over the place, so you have to pay attention where 11 is.
Right.
I mean, Lawrence Taylor usually came from the right side. He usually came from the quarterback's blind side, but still, they moved Lawrence Taylor around a lot too. That's what you want to do. You want to cause confusion.
Right.
The offensive line, or the tight end, wherever blocking seems, where's 11? Where's Parsons? Right? You have to account for him wherever he is in the field. So, like Louie said, if you just leave him in the same spot every time, it's going to be easy to devise. Well, we know he's lining up over here. We'll devise a plan, take him the hell out of the game, make somebody else beat us. But if you're moving him all over the place, it ain't as easy to devise a plan when he's all over the field. And he can definitely do that without question.
Yeah. And here's my only draw. I love what Dan Quinn brought to the table. Like I said, we got 2 pretty much top tier coaches. They could be head coaches everywhere, right? Anywhere. You got Dan Quinn and you have Mike McCarthy. But the problem is with Dan Quinn, to me, and you mentioned this in the Atlanta time when he was there, he get a little too cute. A little eyeshadow, a little blush here on a lady, that ain't nothing to sneeze at, right? But when you start seeing too much foundation caked up all on your face, too much cake face, right? Yeah. Right. So sometimes my guy Dan Quinn get a little too cute, and we are like, his principles are big nickel. He loved big dime. He loved to have 4 safeties out there on the field. And when teams are stubborn enough to just say, hey, like a Joshua Allen out there saying, okay, I'm not going to throw the ball. We're going to run the ball. They tend to win against that. And if we are stubborn enough to say, hey, we're going to keep Parsons on one side of the field, they exploit that. So hopefully, like I'm optimistic, Law. Hopefully these next 2 games, they fix that, because Jahmyr Gibbs and that other running back over there in Detroit, they have the 5th, I think they have the 3rd ranked offense and the 5th ranked defense. They ain't nothing to sneeze at.
That's our next head coach. So
you want Dan Campbell?
Yeah.
Wait.
Their offensive coordinator Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson.
That's
our next head coach.
No. Ben can't come over there. No. He is nasty with it with his play design.
Yeah, he'll be our next coach next year. So get ready for that. But I'm gonna tell you what, I expect y'all to beat Detroit because y'all at home. We're gonna see if that narrative holds up about y'all being at home, that's the whole thing about, like, right now. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if you go to Tampa and beat the Buccaneers right now.
I think we do.
You should.
I think we do.
I'm not sure.
Baker's played really well this year. Baker,
what quarterbacks give us problems?
Mobile.
With the mobile ones.
You ain't got to worry about him being mobile.
He'll
run a little bit, but he ain't running away from anybody.
Nah, he's not.
And the only thing what isolated that Tua got the quickest release in the league, bro. He get the ball. I said, God, dog. One time Parsons was right there. He hit him, and they said flag. And I said, come on. And I'm not gonna bring up the flag situation, Louie T, because I know how you are with the flags. But I'm feeling like, come on, man.
Now Micah has a point though.
Yeah.
It's getting ridiculous now. Like, he's being like, there was one, I think he might have posted it himself, where it's him being held by like 2 different dudes, one up top, one down, around the midsection area. I'm like, bro, this is getting out of control now. Like, literally, they're treating him like Shaq, like how the officials used to treat Shaq. He's so big that you really had to foul Shaq for him to get a call, right?
Yeah.
And he used to get frustrated, and that's when he would get mad and he would start doing stupid stuff, because I'm not getting any calls. Like, I'm getting fouled like everybody else, but because I'm bigger than everybody else, y'all not calling it. He's so good that he's getting held and they're not calling it. And
36 quarters without a holding call.
Bro, I've seen this man put in more sleeper holes this year than I've seen administered in the league wide, all season long. Like, this man's been put to sleep like Debo a couple times.
Hey, this is Parsons right here.
What more do you want from me?
He's waiting for the call, man. He can't get it.
He can't buy a call. I will say that, but everything is funny because we sat here the last time and we said, hey, Law, you got a chance to dispel this notion, right? Your tough part of your schedule is coming up. Here you go. All right, let's see what you're made of. You got to go on the road. Here comes
we got one of them though. We got one of them. We got the Seattle Seahawks.
Hey, you got the Seahawks game, but that was at home, right?
That was it.
That was at home.
No, that was at home. Damn.
It was at home, and I said, hey, look, we expect you to beat Seattle.
Right? Yeah. But that was a team above 500.
Right. That was that argument. Remember, I told you, I said, you're going to win that game. And I said, you're not going to get much credit for that. Okay.
You did say that.
You said, come on, man. They over 500. I said, you ain't going to get too much credit for that. I said, you really want credit? Beat Buffalo in Buffalo. Beat Miami in Miami. Right?
Yeah.
Like, beat one of these
Damn
teams
you. Damn you. Yeah.
And you weren't able to do it. And so the narrative remains the same. Like, even if you go and you beat up on Detroit and you beat them 33 to 17 and you win comfortably, people will say, okay, they at home, but you're not getting a home playoff game. So what difference does it make? You still going to have to go on the road in the playoffs. Are you going to be able to go to Philadelphia and win? Maybe. I think you could. Yeah. Are you going to be able to go to San Francisco and win? I don't think so. So we're going to find out a lot about, I want to see what happens with Detroit because they've gotten their confidence back. And that's a Saturday night showcase. And I'm going to see what you do in that game. But I think after watching you and Philadelphia this last month or so, I feel pretty confident me and Bad Dog will be sitting here with no extra rings being added to this division.
Oh, man. Hey, you never know, man.
Actually, we could have a first-round playoff matchup between the Bucks and Cowboys.
It ain't no we could have it. That's what it's gonna be. I'm talking so? Like what's the girlfriend?
The Eagles should not lose again.
Wait. LB can't defend himself, but I'm gonna say this: Hurts been not the same, right? And if anybody knows Hurts, it should be. Did they play the Cardinals yet?
No, they're playing them this week.
Playing
them this week. And who's that defensive? Who's that coach over there who pretty much knows Hurt? You know, it was his name, Gannon.
You reaching here, man.
Oh, wait a minute now. I've seen that Cards team put up almost 300 yards rushing on the 49ers. And if anything, they probably can look at that and say, okay, they're going to be able to run on the Eagles, right?
Kyler Murray can run, you know that.
Kyler Murray can run, you know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking about that. And then give the Giants one more shot unless they're going to try to say, hey, they're trying to get a better draft picks. But I think that y'all want to have a point to prove. I think y'all split. I had y'all splitting against the doggone Eagles anyway. So
you got a better shot.
You know it's funny. The last time we did this, I remember we were talking about the Eagles defense, and that wasn't any good. And LB was talking about points allowed. And I said, the way you rank a defense is total yards. He said, well, points how you win the game. Well, I remember where they were ranked the last time we did this. But right now, they're 25th in points allowed. Like that's how far they've fallen. And they're 27th in pass defense. That is not a good.
Yeah. That's what happens when you get your ass whooped like they did against Dallas and San Francisco. That'll run your points per game up.
Yeah, I mean that's what happens. You play, a couple of really good teams. Maybe what you want to call. I still think San Francisco is an elite football team.
Yep.
And I still think Dallas is better than Philadelphia right now. I don't care that Dallas lost to Buffalo and that Dallas lost to Miami. Things happen. When the last time they played one another, that wasn't close. That was not close.
Yeah,
Dallas was a better team.
I look at it the same way I looked at the 49ers losing to the Ravens. Philadelphia was moving the football against Dallas. They just turned it over, right?
Oh, so
that's how I look at it. They were going 3 and out, and they were getting like suffocated. But
that's part of it, Louie. They turned the ball over a lot.
Yeah, that absolutely is a part of it. But that's not something that's easy to replicate. Is all I'm saying.
Here's what's going on too, though.
The Niners did to the Eagles.
Yeah.
That's replicatable because they didn't turn the ball over. They just got their ass whooped.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
That was the beat down.
They just literally took it to them. They couldn't even move the ball. They suffocated those boys.
They did.
Right? That's different than, hey, we moving it and then we turned it over when we got inside the red zone or something like that. Something crazy happened. Like,
But here's what I'm saying too, though. When the Cowboys played the Eagles the first time at their crib, we did force 3 turnovers. The ball bounced back to the Eagles, right? Turnovers do change the complexity of the game. So the next time we played them, those same 3 turnovers, it just bounced back to us. So the Eagles, they can't get got at their crib. It's just the Cowboys got to take advantages. Here's the other thing. The craziest thing on the road with the Cowboys, we don't get no freaking turnovers. We haven't had one on the road. In the last 5 games.
Yeah, y'all a different team on the road.
Different team on the road. The ball just don't bounce our way. But go ahead.
It's a different energy when you at home and you got that crowd in your favor. You playing with a little bit more energy, and it's a little bit different. Some teams feed off of being at home. You're one of them, and that's why getting home field advantage was so important for y'all. Y'all would be scared.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, man. Don't remind me, man. If my Cowboys took care of business against Miami and the Bills.
If you were to beat Arizona, we could be having a different conversation. Don't lose to the Cardinals, right? Just little simple stuff like that, but you never know how it's going to affect you down the road. But it's just all about taking care of business, beating the teams you're supposed to beat. And, it is what it is. At the end of the day, you're going to have to go on the road more likely than not, because I just don't see Philadelphia losing either of the final 2 games.
No, I don't either.
And so you're probably not going to win the division, which is going to send you on the road as the 5th seed to Tampa Bay if they continue playing the way that they're playing. And it'll be a rematch of last year's wild card game. But this ain't Brady and the bunch that was limping into the playoffs. These Buccaneers are playing with the most confidence they've had all season long. They're scoring points now. They didn't used to do that. They used to have to beat you 20-17 and force 3 turnovers, and they couldn't turn it over at all.
Yeah, Baker had a huge game on Sunday.
Off on Jacksonville.
Saturday, whatever they did that.
They playing with confidence now. So we gonna see.
All I want to know is when we play them, just look, they can't take that away from them, because they took that away from us last year. They said, Brady was 50 years old at the time, and they stumbled into the playoffs. So I like to see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers again, get us warmed up for the next opponent, and don't let that next opponent be inside like a dome team. It'll be okay for us.
Yeah, I mean that's really interesting that
I think my Cowboys is just a dome team, man. You know, turf and dome, man. Dome, we got to play inside, man. We don't want to be outside.
So I'm looking at this since the last time we met, and I said we're gonna find out a lot about Dallas, and we find out a lot about Philadelphia too. And I think that the Eagles have a lot more to work on than they thought, you know, because I remember we would talk to LB all the time, and we would ask him, like, somebody in the super chat, somebody in the chats, and right now I want to just give a shout out to almost the 800 of you who are out there. I know it's crazy right now. We didn't do the best job of promoting this, and it's, you know, holiday season, everybody's all over the place. We appreciate almost 800 of y'all, you know, on this short notice on this Wednesday, man. We really do appreciate y'all, and we down one, man. So for y'all to come still support, man, we really truly appreciate that. But we said we were going to find out a lot about, you know, those two teams in particular. And I remember LB, someone asking in the comment section, I have to want to say this happened multiple times, and we say, hey, that person would ask, what do you think is the biggest weakness that the Eagles have? And he would always say, we don't have any. We don't have none, right? Wow. And then he would try to figure out something and make up some pedestrian thing that they could work on. But, you know, we really don't have any weaknesses. That was probably the case last year, right? They really didn't have a lot of weaknesses. They were really well balanced and well rounded last season. This year, they can't even stop teams on 3rd and long, right? Like you think that their struggles would maybe be coming from, you know, 1st and 2nd down, you know, efficiency from the opposition. They're getting teams into 3rd and 9 and 8 and 10 and 11, and they're converting, right? Yeah, like they can't,
because they're not getting to the quarterback like they did last year.
Exactly, they're not getting that. And like you said earlier, Bad Dog, their secondary stinks, and I've been saying that since I was talking about, you know, Jolly Rancher Job. I was talking about how James Bradbury can't run.
No, he's done.
He's cooked.
No, he cooked.
Run, right? And so, you know, they were without against you guys. They were without Slay, right? So that hurts. That's how Darius Slayton probably gets behind you for a 70-yard touchdown, because you don't have anybody in that secondary that can, you know, run with Darius Slayton. But like their secondary is so basic, right?
It is,
you can really take advantage. They're playing rookies now. Like they're relying on Eli Ricks, and they're relying on the kid from Georgia, Ringo.
Right? Yep.
They are banged up in that secondary, and they need those young boys to speed up the process. They need them. That's a bad place to be in heading into the playoffs, where you need young boys to step up and play for you, because you can't rely on your veterans at this point. So I can't see, again, the 49ers, don't sleep on Detroit, right? I'm like, this is a big game against Detroit.
Big game, man. Everybody gonna be watching it
because the Lions aren't out of the number 1 seed. First and foremost, they beat y'all.
They can run the ball. They can run the ball.
They can get to the number 1 seed overall still, and even if they don't get to the number 1 seed, they can get to the number 2 seed.
2 seed, you know
what I'm saying? So, and they're very balanced. I still think it's Jared Goff. At the end of the day, I don't trust him.
You got to rattle. If you get golf early, man, he's gonna be selling them balls straight to you. You know,
I think that's
Bland gonna fool around, have a pick six, something like that.
I literally think that's why y'all gonna get him on Saturday, is because y'all gonna get to him early, and once he's not the same dude. Once you rattle his cage,
he's not the same guy.
So I think they have a cap on what they can do because of Jared Goff. But when he's in a rhythm and they're running the ball and they're balanced, then that defense starts to, you know, be able to get going a little bit. And I think their defense still has a long ways to go too.
It's the spots, man. But let me say this though, we were talking about weaknesses. You know, I see 2 glaring holes on my team as far as weaknesses. And what are 2 things that travel?
Defense and a run game.
Yeah, those are my weaknesses, especially on the road. Defense. Now, I'm not saying defense as a total, but I'm saying like it's a lot of personnel issues with my defense, stopping the run.
That's right.
I think we're still good on stopping the pass. So I give us that, but still when teams decide to run, they get right at it. Yeah. And then on the run game, I just think it's not consistent enough. I think my guy, Tony Pollard, he looking to cut back inside instead of continue to bounce to the outside. And when I look at games, if you look at the last 2 games that my team lost, we didn't utilize split back. We didn't even give Rico going. He only had 2 or 3 touches. So I look at it like this, and there's no hate. And I know this is our NFC East roundtable, but I'm talking to my Cowboys people that's watching right now. I like Tony Pollard, but he's Batman. I like Tony Pollard, but he's Luigi. He's not the starting guy. He's Luigi. He's the backup dude. Yeah, Mamma Mia. Welcome to Mario Kart.
Hey, we had that here in New York for a month.
Yeah,
for a month.
That was nice.
Come on, New Yorkers. What?
Yeah.
What the hell's going on over here?
But I'm just being objective, man. I just think my Cowboys, what they need to do, pick Mike McCarthy. Hey, in the second and third quarter, it seems like he need a snack or something, a Snicker or something. Wake up, man. Open your minds up. Open the playbook up. Somebody Uber Eats, man. Somebody send him a DoorDash meal or something because he gets stale in the second and third quarter. So what the Cowboys need to do is saying, hey, continue to utilize CeeDee Lamb and continue to use both running backs. Just look, let's not only use Tony Pollard. Utilize both running backs, and that would be the Band-Aid over this little bullet wound that we got. It will only heal it a little bit, but it won't secure it until next year when we get another running back in the building.
Let me ask you this, because I was sitting there, I was watching this game with Boss Man, and I scored a touchdown. That was a beautiful pass from Dak to Brandon Cooks, right?
Oh yeah.
And I said, Boss, y'all gonna lose this game 22-20 after they scored that.
Oh, you said that?
I told him that right after. I said, hey, y'all gonna lose this game 22-20, right?
I said the same thing. That's my brother-in-law. Yeah. We're watching that Christmas Eve. I said the same thing.
Yeah, you're gonna lose this game 22-20, right?
I watched Tua because I was telling him last year, I like Tua. I was like, Tua, they're like, Tua sucks. So I'm like, Tua's the GOAT. Just watch. Just watch what Tua does here.
Yeah.
Well, you called the Dolphins this year.
I did. I was very high in the Dolphins this year.
And my dad had zero confidence in your defenses getting a stop.
Yeah.
He didn't agree with me that they were going to lose the game, but he wasn't fighting it, right? He wasn't like, nah, you wrong. He was just sitting there like, kind of like, damn, he right. But I ain't going to tell him he right. But damn, I think he right. How did you feel after you scored that touchdown?
After we scored that touchdown, I looked at the time. I said, damn, that 3 minutes like an eternity. And normally, games like this with great defenses, they'll close it out. But by it being only a 1-point deal, maybe we would have had a chance if it was 3 points on there. Maybe they would have called different plays or something like that. But I don't really think that this defense could slow them down, because it was like they had to still march, and they went 62 yards easily. And then my guy face masked them and said, hey, here's 15 more yards. So the Cowboys, we lead the league in penalties.
Yeah, that's my dad's biggest thing. He's like, we're not going to be good because we can't stop. And this is every year. Like
every year, penalties.
Every year for like the last decade, y'all been in the top 5 in penalties every year, right?
Right.
And his thing was this year, even when y'all were winning, man, if we could just cut out the penalties.
Cut out the penalties, man. And he probably called into the show because so many people call in and they say these things. Now, granted, there are penalties that I know that the aficionados, they're going to do that. The subjective calls. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the ones you can't control, Cowboy Nation. Somebody need to reel them in, because we lead the league in false starts with 17. 14 offsides. Those are things that you can control. Illegal shifts, illegal motions. Those things that you can control, Cowboys. The face mask. Those are tendencies and technique that you can control. So when you have an undisciplined team, those things rear its ugly head up at the wrong time for you, at the right time for the opposing team. So it's been so many plays that have been wiped away, or momentum been wiped away because of a false start. Granted, I get it. Even if we want to lean on the officials, can't stand Jerry Jones and beyond, but the Cowboys need to focus on the things they can control, and that is the false starts and the pre-snap penalties. That's all I wanted to say. Objectively speaking,
So
totally off subject. Louie, how the hell are you going to let the Jets come back and kick that damn field goal? How do you not win that game? What are you doing? You're supposed to win that game.
Yeah, dog. I had a talk with the football gods.
Come on,
what they say?
Right?
Come on.
And so earlier in the season, before the season started, the football guys said, "Hey, I'm gonna bless you this year." Right?
Yeah.
Black Cloud is gone, Snyder's gone. I'm gonna bless you this year. So I thought that meant 11 wins, right?
Well, I know because you got all over us saying, all these guys picked us to win 6 games. They don't know what the hell they're talking. We're right. You're right. We were wrong. They didn't win 6 games, Law.
Look, man.
Neither did we, for that matter.
I told the fan base I would have bet every penny I had before the season started. If you would have asked me, were we winning 6 games or less? Like, 6 games or what? Let me get every single bet. Let me take every single bet. Then after we started 2-0, I would have took out a loan.
I know. You were killing us. You were killing us about that. Amazing how it works.
Every single penny of that.
You know where your downfall started with the Giants. Of course.
It started with the Bears. That Bears game.
That's true. You guys gave up 40 points to the Bears.
Absolutely went to sleep in the Bears game. But
that's true.
You know what was crazy? And so I talked to the football guys a couple weeks ago.
What they say?
At the beginning of the season, he said he was gonna bless me, and I thought he meant 11 wins, right? The blessing was, bro.
You getting Brock Bowers?
You don't want Ron Rivera and Eric Bieniemy and all these guys and Jack Del Rio. You don't want these guys around, right?
I think you should keep them. It's good for young quarterbacks' development. Keep Howell, keep the coaches.
Yeah, you can't. You really truly want to move forward. You got to take this one step back if you want to go 2 steps forward, right?
I know.
Do you think this though, Louie T? Though, do you think this because you guys went toe to toe, man, with the Eagles, and after those losses, man, y'all fired.
But
y'all got rid of. Did the Eagles break y'all soul, man? Because y'all got rid of everybody.
I look at the Eagles and I'm like, did that really mean something? I mean, the Eagles they mid as hell, right? Did I really do something? I mean, I'm looking at what the 49ers did. I'm looking at what y'all did to them. Hell, Drew Lock got a piece of their ass. Did I really do something? Yeah, I don't know if we did anything or not, right? I mean, so at the end of the day, I was so disappointed that they came back. I'm like, what the hell are y'all? Are y'all trying to blow this for us? And the football guy said, relax, man. I told you I was going to bless you, right? Yeah. So instead of getting beat by, 37 by the Jets, which have been like, I know y'all didn't watch this game, and I'm so thankful.
Oh, I did. I did watch it because
I didn't.
I just said, I'm sorry on Twitter. I said, I'm sorry. Sam Howell's ass.
Oh, I saw the tweet.
And I think it was the guy that works with Authentic. He's a Washington fan, and he says, "Oh, you've been silent on Sam Howell front. You haven't said anything to lay this game like this." I said, "I don't get the Commanders in my area. I go, they're playing the Jets, so I'm watching this game." Now I'll say this, Louie: halftime comes, I'm going to my in-laws. At that point, we're traveling. We're going over there. Not traveling far, but we're leaving the house.
Right.
I get to the place. The Vikings and Lions are on TV because it's coming down to the wire. And I look at this. I look at my phone just to look at the scores. And I said to the guy, I said to my buddy, I go, holy shit, Washington's winning. I go, you got to put the game up. Like, how the hell is they winning 28-27? What the hell happened? I didn't know they benched Howell.
Yeah.
I didn't know any of this stuff happened.
Right.
So I did not see the second half. I saw the first half, and I was like, Sam Howell's ass. He is. 22, 47.
Who we thought they are.
Come on. Come on, Louie. Just admit it. He's not good. Just give it to me.
Who, Sam?
Yeah, give it to me. It's terrible.
Well, I already told you. He's a product of his circumstances.
Okay, then I guess Daniel Jones is a product of his circumstances.
That's true. He got a better mixtape than Daniel Jones does.
Do we have Terry McLaurin on this team? Do we have a Terry McLaurin?
Doesn't matter. A lot of his.
We have a Jahan Dotson.
We don't even use those guys like we should. That's the problem.
We don't even have them here.
That's not my fault. That's your fault.
It's not my fault. It's the Giants' fault. They're my fault. I don't draft.
That's a product of a coaching staff, right? Not understanding what your talent is.
But Daniel Jones had a career year last year with the same coaching staff.
But I watched what he did though. I mean, we could have taken anybody's backup in the league and put him in Daniel Jones' shoes as long as he had some wheels, and they could have did with Daniel Jones.
I don't know, man. I give Daniel Jones credit for this. The games he came back against Green Bay and Baltimore, that was pretty impressive. The game he had against Minnesota was unbelievable. I mean,
that was the best game.
People can say Minnesota's defense sucked.
Yeah,
I get it. But that was, in my opinion, it was a game against Minnesota that got him the contract. I really believe that. I believe it was
salute to Minnesota there, you know.
And the fact that they could not get a deal with Barkley done is why he came back here.
Yeah, and we were all appreciative of that because
it's all right. You got one more year. Well, I don't know why you're appreciative. I mean, I can be quarterback. We beat you.
Yeah,
he beats you. Tyrod beats you. DeVito beats you. I wonder who our third string guys next year.
It don't matter right now. It don't matter who it is.
We can put Matt Barkley in there
when we get some real coaches in here.
You ain't never beaten the Giants. Just go to the CFL when you play the Giants. You cannot beat the Giants.
I can't say nothing to you right now, but when we get
that's how bad it is. You can't say nothing to me. Everybody shit on the Giants.
When we get the next year, you know what I want?
I hear this every year when we get into next year. Lord,
you do that because I always think it's going to be different. But it's not going to be different. It's going to be different this time because we get rid of all the cesspool that's existing in Washington right now. We're going to start this thing anew. Like, this is the second biggest offseason in Washington franchise history.
It'll be a big offseason.
Hey, y'all fool around, hire not Jason Garrett, but y'all might hire Kellen Moore or somebody. You better watch out.
Man, we ain't hiring no damn Kellen Moore. He couldn't even get it done with the Chargers with Justin Herbert. Hell no. Nah. He blew his opportunity.
You better watch out, man. You better be
top-notch coach. The biggest hire
Ben Johnson,
obviously. And we got to get that right first because he's going to be the one shopping for the groceries. So if we could get that right and get Ben Johnson or whoever that GM wants.
Is that who you want?
I want Ben Johnson.
What about this Russell Wilson sweepstake? Because that's going to be the next day, right? Since I think that he's going to be
really a sweepstakes at this point.
I think he wanted to originally go to the Giants, right? Bad dog.
That was the rumor before we drafted.
But his wife, like, no, you know.
Yeah, that was the rumor that the Giants were going to give up a couple of first-round picks to get him to New York, and it didn't happen. We ended up taking down. No, I don't want Russell. We can't.
You don't want Russell. We
can't afford him. We can't afford to carry him and Daniel Jones. No, I don't want. Listen, I love Russell Wilson, but as far as the Giants go in their quarterback situation, man, you got to take the rookie quarterback. Yep. You dump Jones after 2024, and then you're on the rookie contract clock for 5 years. You got to go that route. You can't go another guy. Listen, as bad as as inconsistent as he's been, I'd rather have a guy like Justin Fields because he's in his prime. And he's not going to get as much as Russell Wilson is. But if that was the case, then you're not going to have to. No, I don't want Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's at the end of his career. He's before we drafted Jones in 2019. I would have gladly taken him. Not now.
I think Russell still look. I wish I had his stats. Somebody pull up his stats. His stats ain't that bad that year.
26 touchdowns, 8 picks.
The stats aren't. They're misleading. Like don't.
They are. He's been inconsistent.
I watched the game.
I didn't watch many games, but break it down, Louie.
So their defense has been outstanding in terms of producing turnovers. During that 5-game win streak that they had, their defense was forcing like 3 to 5 turnovers a game. Like, I'm not bullshitting you. It'd be
that's
5.
That's the way we did it too. We were forcing a bunch of turnovers.
That's how, usually when your offense is trash. That's what has to happen. Is your defense has to step up. And their defense had to step up because their offense is incapable of driving the length of the field without something going wrong. So instead of them having to go 75 yards for a touchdown, it was 29. It was 18. It was 4 yards.
Well, just like us.
And and then when you do that, you have a chance to win. And they won games that they otherwise, like when they beat Buffalo on that Monday night, they forced like 5 turnovers that night, and they still needed a miracle catch by Cortland Sutton in the end zone on a 4th down and they still needed a last-second field goal to win, right? Like, they are terrible on offense.
Russell Wilson would have to go to a team that's ready to compete. Like the Giants ain't there. Russell
Ready to
Wilson would
compete.
get killed behind our offensive line.
Ready
That
to
does
compete.
not make sense.
And you would have to build your offense around.
That's what I'm saying. And he's older now.
Right.
Like people are worried about Michael Penix being old. Like Russell Wilson's old.
Russell to the Raiders, man. He might do something. Man, I'm just saying, though, man. I'm just saying, though. Raiders.
That is a possibility.
Russell
That's
to the
why I see him
Raiders.
going. Now, I don't know how much Jimmy's on the books for.
But they're in the same division, so I don't know.
Yeah, we seen crazier
But they
things.
gonna cut him.
I know,
It ain't about what division he in, because
They gonna cut him.
trade for him. They gonna have to cut him.
Yeah, Sierra husband gone, y'all. He gonna get.
He getting cut. They don't want to play him these last 2 weeks
Yeah,
because of a 2025 injury. Injury guarantee that's in there if he can't pass his physical when they cut him. So they like, we cutting you this offseason, and you got to be able to pass this physical. It's the same thing the Raiders did to Derek Carr last year when they sent him home for the final 2 games of the season, right? So he's done in Denver. And everybody knows it because of what you're doing. So you're not going to be able to trade him. I'm not eating that contract. Nobody's eating that contract. So he's good. I mean, he could sign with Denver. I mean, with the Raiders if he want to, if they want him, if they're interested. But
That wouldn't be a bad idea. Raiders actually make some sense.
yeah, it probably be a team.
We'll see what happens. So I wanted to ask an off-season question real quick for Bad Dog.
Could have asked me this in October.
Hey, look, man. You look, there was a brief ray of hope there 2 weeks ago before that Saints game. Y'all had put the draft down.
I said this during the stream. It was probably the only time in my life I was looking at the scoreboard for playoff positioning and draft positioning. I don't think I've ever done that in my life. But I was looking at both. It was crazy, man.
It was wild because I was like, okay, I got to put these boys out of their misery quick because Giants fans were coming out of the woodworks like, hey, we're just a game. I'm like, okay. And that was the Rams and the Saints. I'm like, okay, let me stop you right there.
Right. That was crazy.
All right, let's understand that you guys aren't good for real. All right,
good.
And
fun for a month. It was fun.
I've been there. I know what it's like. I did it with Taylor Heineke each of the last 2 seasons. I know what that's like. It's fun.
Yeah.
Who wants to play meaningless football this time of day? This sucks.
It was fun having an undrafted guy.
Yeah.
One of my countrymen. You know what I mean? It's nice.
This sucks being in this position. Off season for you, best case scenario looks like what, Bad Dog?
Best case scenario is, to me, we get a quarterback, and that's best case scenario. Get a quarterback. And I love when people are sitting there going, oh, you got to get an offensive lineman. But we don't need to draft an offensive lineman top 5. You can work on the line later in the draft. Nobody spent more on linemen in the draft than the Giants have since they drafted Daniel Jones. It ain't worked. So Shane will finally have some cap space, like 35 to 40 million, go out there and get a guy that can play at this level. Stop taking chances with guys that we can't develop. I mean, Evan Neal looked like, look at this guy. He's a can't miss guy. He sucks. Now he's hurt. He's inconsistent. Maybe they move him inside. Listen, we didn't do it with Eric Flowers. Eric Flowers ended up being a decent guard. They did it with Pugh. They moved Pugh from right tackle to guard. He ended up being a very good guard for us.
No doubt.
You can't just give up on Evan Neal. You have to at least try to move him inside, get a right tackle somewhere. But to me, that's best case scenario. You get a quarterback, you get rid of the offensive coordinator, let Dable call the plays. Let Shane and Dable get their guy. Daniel Jones ain't their guy. Mm-hmm. And the way Dable treated Daniel Jones this year, right from the very beginning, this is such a complete, this is so 2020 to 2021. Joe Judge, the first year, I know we were only 6-10 and had a chance in the division because the division was awful. Mm-hmm. But you saw improvement. And you're thinking, they had the whole COVID thing and there was no preseason games. There was no training camp. And you're thinking, oh, you're out of the system. The Giants are going to get better. You got some going. And 2021 was a complete flop. Daniel Jones got hurt. He was out most of the year. We ended up being really bad. And Dave Gettleman kept his job, and we weren't able to do anything with it. And it's the same thing this year. You have a good season, You win a playoff game for the first time in 10 years. And then, again, Daniel Jones gets hurt. Complete flop this year. Mm-hmm. The Giants have gotten, but there's no, my point is there's no loyalty here. The first against Denver in 2021. I remember Joe Judge.
Let me just add this in, Bad Dog. You know, I think that y'all going for the eye candy. Y'all got good. Y'all going to have early draft picks, but you need to package that. Go ahead and get some veterans. Are your team more of being a defensive-led team or offensive?
Without question, when it's been Giants football,
right,
it has always been defense. It's always been defense running.
So package that up, better your best. Put some more defensive pieces there. Get you a veteran quarterback and get you a veteran wide receiver. Hey, trust that young offensive line. Somehow you may have to. I don't know who's your offensive line coach, but
he's gone. Bobby Johnson's ass. He's gone.
Get rid of him.
He's terrible.
Work on Evan Neals because he got something still there, man. He's the young guy. I know he's not.
I'm not giving up on Evan Neals.
Don't give up on the kid.
He's been terrible, but I'm not giving up on him.
And I hate giving tips to the Giants, but I'm telling y'all, man, you got you a good center, man. So just start building around that, and before you know it, man, shoot, the Giants could be making some noise.
The thing is, in this day and age, you need a dynamic player at quarterback. You really do. Unless you have like a great team around.
You better wide receiver, though.
Yeah, well, listen, we've tried that too, right? That we've run a pair of Campbell, it didn't work.
Galloway,
draft wide receiver.
Yeah,
I don't know if Xavier Leggett's going to make it to the second round, but there's a guy you can get in the second round. The Giants have 2 draft picks in the second round. Maybe they move up back into the first and get. I don't know what they're going to do. What I know is Giants fans have been split for years on the quarterback, or split on should we win games for morale, should we lose games for draft position. My point is this: I'm not going to get mad at them for winning games. I can't get mad at them for trying to win games. It's their job. And I'm not going to be upset if they lose. I understand the benefits of both. My whole point with the Giants is we as fans have got to trust the GM to do his job. If he really wants quarterback, he will find a way to get the quarterback. And if he doesn't, he'll do something else. Whatever he does, it's his job to build a winner. However he decides to go about that, that's on him. We can sit here and talk to a blue in the face. We need Jaden Daniels. We need Michael Penix. We need Caleb Williams. We got to do this. We got to do that. We got to build the O-line. We got to get it running. We got to do – it don't matter what we think. Yep. Joe Shane's the one that's got to build this team. But to go back to the point with Daniel Jones, I remember week 1 of 2021. I remember Joe Judge showing the challenge flag after Denver scored a touchdown. And I was like, what are you doing? You don't even know the freaking rules. And I remember that was one of my sound bites. The Joe Judge 2021 was my best content I've ever done. I swear to God. I came out with, because Joe Judge made the guys run laps when they screwed up.
Right.
So I remember the post-game video saying, you run laps, Joe, because he didn't know the rule. Yeah. Threw a challenge flag, wasted a timeout. Game 1 against Dallas. Right away, I'm questioning Brian Dable, not because we got our brains beat in.
Yep.
But why is Daniel Jones in the game down 40-0 with all the backups? And then he comes out with, Jordan or whoever he was talking about. We are trying to build some momentum for the next week. And I'm like, that's BS, because if you're trying to do that, why are all your starters out except for Daniel Jones? Why are you leaving him there to get killed? And then he did it against Seattle. He got sacked 10 times. They had 24-3. He left him in there the whole game. Like, man, there's something going on there. Then you saw him throw the tablet at him and all this other stuff. That's not his guy.
Yeah, that was
not his guy. Let them get their guy. Like you said, let them out of groceries.
Yeah.
Right? That's not what they're supposed to do. Let Shane out of groceries and let Dable
call me crazy. Call me crazy. We'll go get Kirk Cousins.
I don't want Kirk Cousins, man. He's old too.
You get you a better. I'm trying to tell you, man.
Kirk Cousins is dead behind our offensive line. They'd have to bury him where he falls.
Go get Kirk Cousins, man.
Come on.
Hey, Louie.
Maybe they should reunite Kirk Cousins in Washington.
Y'all go get Kirk Cousins, man. Louie T. Go get Kirk Cousins.
There you go. We definitely going the rookie route. We got all this money. We ain't finna spend it on no damn veteran quarterback. We about to spend this joint.
I'm not hating on Kurt at all, or Kirk at all. I'm not hating on him at all. But he also what he tear? His ACL, his Achilles. What he tear?
Yeah,
he'll be ready.
That's all we need is another guy that was never mobile with a torn ACL behind our offensive line.
He'll be ready around September, man. Well, all right. What's the next question, man?
So, couple more questions, and then we're gonna get to the comment section. So, is there real beef between Wink Martindale and Brian
No.
Daboll?
Wink said it best. I've been in LA 20 years. It's the same as it was last year. The difference, when you're 8-4, you don't talk about it. When you're 4-8, that's what you hear. I mean, it's fact.
Okay.
Fact. I want Wink Martindale back. I think Wink Martindale's done a very good job. The defense has been inconsistent. Without question, there's been some questionable calls. The 3rd and 20 that we allowed Philadelphia to convert when we had all the momentum, they played quarters defense, and they let A.J. Brown literally run down the field 32 yards and sit on the sideline with nobody there. Like, what the hell was that call?
What's crazy with him is I felt like he's tempered down the amount of pressure that he's brought ever since the little beef sort of happened.
That second half in Philly, dude, he blitzed like every time because we can't get there with 4 guys.
Yeah.
It's a big problem, but he started bringing run. I'm like, you got to start bringing run blitzes. They're running the ball down our throat. I like Wink, and if I think Kafka's gone, and if Daboll lets Kafka go, Daboll can call the plays. Wink is a veteran. You can let Wink handle the defense. I don't think Daboll really needs to oversee the defense. The defense is the reason we have the wins we do, and maybe outside of Arizona because Daniel Jones played really well in the second half. But the 3-game winning streak we were on. Tommy DeVito is a great story. He shredded your defense, right? But how many turnovers do we have against you guys? 5?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. The Giants, I think, caused 12 turnovers in that 3-game winning streak. So the defense is a big reason why we win games. And it's not all, obviously the team's not good as a whole. Coaching team as a whole had a lot of questions. I still like Wink. I'd like Wink to come back. I don't think that there's any real beef. I think it's the fact that you're 4-8. There's always turmoil. Listen, we're hearing turmoil inside the Philadelphia locker room. They're 11-4. That might be something. Yeah. When you have a losing record, of course that's out there. Always.
And Saquon's done in New York.
Saquon, well,
yeah, he comes to Dallas.
It's not popular. I say the same thing. If you're going to put money in the team, you put it in front of the quarterback. You don't put it behind the quarterback. So all these people, the Giants fans, are like, we got to build the old line, but we got to pay Saquon. Like you can't have that both ways.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing Saquon got hurt again this year. He hasn't had a great year by any stretch of the imagination. I think they tag him again, personally. I don't know if they'll sign the tag, but I think they tag him again. I think that's what they do. Or they give him a 2-year deal. They give him a 2-year deal. They can't give him a 3-year, $39 million. Like, that can't happen.
Okay. You think they tag him again? Because I know it's pretty cheap to tag him once. Twice, though?
Yeah,
It'd be like $12 million. Not too much. It would not be that much. Running back tag isn't that much.
I think 10, 15, 10, 11.
Yeah, the reason I say that, Louie, is because I feel like if they didn't plan on bringing him back in some capacity, they would have traded him. He had to have trade value. We traded Leonard Williams. We got a 2nd-round pick. What the hell could we have got for Saquon if he went to Buffalo, if he went to Baltimore? You know what I mean? There had to be some
maybe
somebody called about Saquon.
Yeah, but maybe they weren't willing to give up because it's different. Leonard Williams had years left on his deal, right? So
no, Leonard was a free agent.
He's a free agent. They already re-signed him, right?
They had re-signed him, but this was his last year. He didn't.
They re-signed him already.
He didn't push that back. He didn't restructure it.
Yeah,
he didn't push it back. No, they let him.
It was different. It's different with Saquon because he's a running back, and he's an unrestricted free agent. He's already had the franchise tag slapped on him, so you probably don't want to do it again, even though you say the number is not that high. I think there were calls that were probably made on him, but you wanted probably a second, and nobody was probably willing to.
That could be. I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know what the.
I'm pretty sure there were calls that were made to just check the temperature.
Somebody was taking,
but I don't think anybody was seriously going to give you maybe a day 3 pick, a 4th rounder, maybe a 4th conditionally. That
it wouldn't make any sense because if you let him walk, you're gonna get a 3rd, a compensatory. You're gonna get a 3rd, but it won't be until 2025. It wouldn't be this.
Right. Anyway, I just wanted to ask you that question. I was curious. So,
and I know you guys are going Brock Bowers in a draft. You guys need a tight end there. Brock Bowers.
We do, but just like the Lions got a 2nd-round tight end who's killing it right now.
Sam Laporta,
yeah. You don't need a 1st-round tight end.
No, you guys do.
Yeah, I know you're trying to keep us away from the
You
quarterback.
gotta- you
We
gotta-
did our job, man. We did our job. You see what he's got to do now? You see what he's got to do? He's got to trade in front of us. See, he didn't understand the Jedi mind trick we was playing when we let him sweep us, right? After the first one, the first one we wanted to win that one bad. They got us, right?
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro. That's when you keep asking me, did the Eagles break us? No, the Giants broke us.
No, that's what I said. I said the Giants, but
The
that's
Giants in week 7 broke us because that's when I said, this shit is over. I had to look myself in the mirror and say, this shit is over. We went to New York and scored 7 whole points against the Giants. Right? It's over. That's what broke us. We scored 31 the next week against.
And you know why they got 7 points? Because Sterling Shepard fumbled the punt inside his own 15.
Inside of his own 15, man. That's crazy.
That's why they got those 7 points.
Did we score off of that?
Yes.
That was
how he scored.
Because we got down there. Terry McLaurin had a catch after.
I think you guys turned it over when he got down there, though.
Yeah,
the first time. But that's when you
blocked the field. You blocked the field.
Because Graham fumbled earlier in the game, and they put Shepard back there, and then he fumbled the damn ball. That's another guy. McGawkey's gone too. They're going to get rid of the special teams coach.
Yeah. No, you blocked the field goal. That's what happened on that possession. Because our coach ain't going for it on 4th down. He's a clown.
I can't believe he didn't go for it on 4th down. I also couldn't believe at the beginning of the year he didn't go for 2 against Philadelphia. That's
I mean, but that's Ron Rivera. He's like I said,
yeah, money don't make no and Riverboat Ron.
he damn sure ain't that no more. Rowboat
boat sunk. That boat is sunk.
Roll your boat.
Rowboat Ron. He ain't no damn riverboat. That's a damn sure. Rev Rebel 95. Thank you for the super sticker. Greatly appreciate you, man. Shout out to Rev Rebel 95 for the super sticker. Eternal Dynasty. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Writes, y'all should make clips of the first episode of the season so we can have a good laugh and talk about it at the end of the season.
We should do it like in the off season. We should like do a stream where we react to the shit
that we said, because I know I said some flavor.
Oh, of course I did. My God, I was like cloud 9,
once, but twice. Hey, we gonna break your shit to the white.
Yeah, of course.
A lot of
boy, you're talking, boy.
I know I said some crazy shit. So
that would actually be funny. We should do that in the offseason. We should react to the first Super Friends of the year.
And I do know this. I did say the Eagles were going to win the division, and I think that's going to happen. I did say that I thought that the Cowboys. I think I had y'all at 10 though.
I had my team going 13-4. So
yeah,
I'm on that game.
I think I had the Eagles. I think I had the Eagles 12-5.
Yeah, I think I did too.
Cowboys 11-6.
Yeah,
I think I had us 10-7.
Yeah. I mean, we always have our team.
A little bias there. There's a little bias
higher than we should.
So me and LB was closer. Me and LB is closer. But man, when LB was going down his list, we was sitting there looking at him like, ain't no way. So yeah.
No. So it was you the year before, because y'all ain't losing game to y'all. I was like 9-0 before y'all lost y'all first game, and then y'all came out, y'all lost week 1 to 10.
Right, and the quarterback out for the almost half of the year. Yeah.
We thought y'all season was done.
Man.
Came out of there smelling like roses. Yeah, that would actually be pretty funny. We should do that.
Yeah.
D Shift. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. D Shift writes, out the Cowboys foes, whose quarterbacks was the biggest flop? I mean,
it got to be Jones, don't it?
It's got to be Jones.
It's got to be Daniel Jones.
Jones got paid all that money. 2 touchdowns, 6 picks, neck injury, torn ACL, without question. He was the biggest flop. Without question. Sam Howell's in his first full season.
Yeah,
Hurts is not at a good year, but the Eagles are really good, record wise. I mean, they're the 2 seed in the NFC, so it's got to be. And Dak Prescott's had an MVP season going until the last game
since Bills.
So it's definitely Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
without question.
Nate Master, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Nate writes, Lou be preaching all night, but y'all tune him out. I be trying to drop gems on their melon, man. They be dismissing me, and then we come back, the next time, and I be like, "What I tell you? I told y'all that this is gonna happen, and this is gonna happen." And hey, I mean, I'm sort of a Lustradamus, right? I get every now and again.
I honestly think we only tune Lou out when he starts praising the Commanders because I think we know better.
What?
I think that's what we
so.
tune him out.
Rightfully so.
Because of Sam Mahomes, we had to run off with
right. Sam Mahomes was kind of.
So I never said that. Y'all,
look at him.
I love how y'all ran with that one.
No, we gonna always run with that.
He was Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes did look like Sam Howell this past weekend.
Yeah. He are Pat Mahomes is regressing. He regressed Mahomes. Something wrong with
everybody
him.
Can't be regressing.
Listen, all the quarterbacks have this year. The quarterback plays down all across the league this year. A lot of teams are playing too high safeties. They're not allowing a lot of deep plays outside of Miami because they just won by everybody. It don't really matter how they do.
I blame Taylor Swift. Oops, I said it out loud. Please, Swifties, don't come after me.
Be careful with that now.
Wait a minute,
you have to shut down your whole social media and start over again. Be careful. I literally, you're gonna have to be patient against some of these teams. A lot of these quarterbacks don't want to be patient. Like Mahomes, literally 2 years ago, that was the first time teams started playing too high shell against him, and he had to learn how to check it down, right? Because the first 3 years of his career, it was bombs away over the top to Tyreek, right? So he didn't have to be patient. And some of these quarterbacks, these young quarterbacks, they just struggle with the concept of, hey, take what they're giving you. As people always say, especially the old heads in the league, say you can't go broke making a profit. Take what they're giving you underneath, and live to fight another day. But
I think Josh Allen struggles with that too. Honestly, Josh Allen, he's a modern day Brett Favre, man. He chucks the ball all over the place.
It's tough when you used to getting those chunk plays. And all of a sudden, now you have to be patient. Yeah. Now you got to go on an 11, 12 play drive. Exactly. When you used to being able to do it in 6 or 5 plays. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's tough for a lot of these dudes. Roman, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Roman writes, Bad Dog, the only one with ball knowledge.
All right, let's not get carried away. Roman, you're my guy. You know that. But obviously, Roman's a little biased. He's a Giants fan.
That's Daniel Jones. I see him.
I was like, what? I was like, wait, what ball knowledge is he talking about?
Pause.
Pause. Big pause. Like, wait a minute, Roman. Like, I'm like, is it Roman?
How do you know?
Like, wait a minute. I'm like, okay. Take that back.
Holy Jesus. Hey, bro, come on now, dog.
Come on now, dog. Pause. I appreciate that dog. The Phillies Ace 34. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, what's up, fellas? Louie said it from the jump. It's been our coaching, no doubt about it. And if it wasn't for Hurts, despite the turnovers, we would be done. And I agree with that. Hurts has come up clutch for you guys this season in a number of games where you guys looked like you were on the verge of losing, and this guy pulled you back from the jaws of defeat several times this season and got your wins. And I've said it. I said it from the jump. Like you said, it's the coaching. It's going to be different. And I didn't expect as significant of a drop-off on defense because I thought that Sean Desai would upgrade your defensive play calling.
Right.
But I knew you were missing pieces defensively. And to think that young guys were going to come in, right, like TJ Edwards and Kaiser White gone, and you're just going to insert my man from Georgia, right, and Zach and Cunningham and Morrow, and think that, okay, we're going to be fine, right? To lose what you lost in the secondary and to lose the defensive tackle and think, okay, we're just going to plug in a couple of guys from Georgia and we should be fine. And I haven't even heard the first round pick edge rusher from Georgia with Nolan. What's his name? Nolan Smith. I haven't heard him at all. Like when he plays, I don't even know he's on the field. So it's not the same, right? And offensively, you're more talented than you were last year. And I'm shocked at how you regressed offensively, but I shouldn't be, because I told you Shane Steichen was a genius. Look what he's doing in Indy.
Look what he's doing.
In Indy.
I'm a coach of the year, I think.
Man, he should be in that conversation. Like offensively, they were the last team this season to every game this year up until the game they had against the Patriots over in Germany. Right. They had scored 20 or more points in every single game. They were the last NFL team.
And that's with the quarterback going down early in the year.
Exactly. They thought they were going to have Anthony Richardson, right? They thought they were going to run the same offense they ran in Philadelphia with Jalen Hurts with Anthony Richardson, right? And then now they running, something a little bit different with Gardner Minshew, and he's still getting it done. The dude, he knows what he's doing offensively. He knows how to exploit.
No, I mean, the one plus is obviously he worked with Minshew last year, so but
he couldn't bust a grape with Minshew in Philadelphia last year. They rushed Hurts back because they were scared they were going to lose.
I know, but Minshew still had a good game against Dallas. I mean, he threw for like 350 yards and 3 times. He turned it over a couple times, but I mean, he still, they lost with Minshew. That was why.
Yeah, they lost both games, and then they went. They scored 10 against New Orleans.
Yeah, they barely beat New Orleans.
No, they lost to New Orleans. They lost that game. They didn't win anything with Minshew last year.
They came back and won because of a pass interference.
No, they lost the 2 Minshew starts last year, and that's why they rushed Hurts back.
Why do I think they beat New Orleans and lost the game after? Maybe they did.
Yeah, no, they lost his 2 starts, and that's what made them rush him back. I think he
still put up 34 against Dallas. Though.
He did. Well, I think it was 27. I think Dak threw it right to a touchdown. But that's
I know that Gardner Minshew performance won me my fantasy league because I had to play him and he had a huge game.
Wow. What are you doing that you have to start Gardner Minshew?
We have a 12-team league.
God dang.
2 quarterbacks, and it's a keeper league. So needless to say, when you have a bye, because we don't have a defense, we don't have a kicker. There's 2 flex positions. One flex, you can play any position, which everybody plays quarterback. The other one's got to be a running back or a receiver tight end. So, yes, you will usually draft 3 quarterbacks. And when you have 12 teams, that's 36 quarterbacks.
Did you win it?
When yes, we did win.
Okay.
Well, not so much because of the quarterback. Well, we had Burrow. We had a great year. But we had McCaffrey. And then our wide receiver. Wide receivers were stacked. I had Christian Watson, Chris Olave, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Adams, and who the hell is the other guy I had? I forget. But the wide receiver core I had was.
But you went heavy on the rookie.
It was better than the wide receiver core that you have in real life. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantasy. So yes,
I'm messing with you. There we go.
Of course. I mean, but it didn't take much to get a receiver core better.
No, it wouldn't. All I did have to do is my first receiver I take in my fantasy draft is already better than my wide receiver core here.
Is that your strategy? You go with wide receivers first in the draft?
No, it's usually quarterbacks. They go flying off the ball. Quarterbacks, running backs are quick. Yeah. Although a guy took Travis Kelce like 6th overall this year.
Yeah.
And that was great past years. I don't know about
last year, but not this year. He having.
Well, the guy's a Chiefs fan, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Christopher McLaughlin, my guy Chris, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, "Hey, Lou and Super Friends, what's going on, Chris? Happy holidays and best wishes for everyone having a prosperous 2024. We appreciate it. Likewise,
thank
Chris.
you.
For Law, what is the number one reason for the Cowboys' struggle on the road? And how concerned are you about the run defense and why?"
Okay, that's a good. Defense do travel, right? And when you're on the road, I think that our size is the issue there. As far as our offense, cadence works. We don't get a chance to hear my guy Dak Prescott say, "Yes, here we go." We don't get a chance to do that. So
you just wanted to play that.
I want to hear that. Here we go. Here we go. So he can't do that on the road. They're like, "Yeah, here we go." They're like, "Man, I can't hear you," And I think that, by us, when you look at that Bills game, we didn't do a lot of motions. We only motioned by 10 to 12% of the time in that game. When we normally at the crib, we motion about 35 to 45%. So I think that Dak Prescott not able to actually see the field when you're on the road and the players are not on the same page, you get that residual drop off right there. So defense do travel, and I think that could be some of the issues. We don't get turnovers on the road for some strange reason. So those could be the issues of our biggest impediment while we on the road. opposed to at the crib. Communication.
And what about your run defense?
Run defense size. When you, like you said, you 205 and you got to come down and field through A gap or get down to the C. If you got force side and you're on the play side and you're not able to shoot through a tight end or get around from a block and you get gobbled up inside, that just happens. Also, we got guys playing out of position. One can argue that we had Overshown to be injured. He was a rookie that was going to get a lot of snaps in this season. He didn't get a chance to do anything. We had LVE to go out, and both of those type of situations with linebackers being razor blade thin and the Cowboys being stubborn. All of those injuries happened before the trade deadline, by the way, and we were stubborn. We said, okay, we like what we got. We like our guys. We took a Damone Clark and we put a wheel linebacker or a weak side linebacker in the middle of the field. And this is pretty much his first year because technically last year he didn't start playing until like week 12 or 13. So he's still learning. And the Mike linebacker is one of the hardest positions to learn in the National Football League. So I'm thinking that Damone Clark got too much food on the table, and he's double guessing and hesitating. And that's why you see those flaws in the game, especially on the road, because he don't have the comfort of communication, everything loud, etc.
It's always tough on the road.
It's always tough on the road, man. Yeah.
Drew, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Drew writes, the Eagles are the only threat to the Niners. True or false? What y'all think?
False.
False.
Yeah.
I don't think there is a threat to the Niners.
I think Detroit can probably move them a little bit.
I don't
If
know
they
about
score
Jared
first,
Goff.
if they score first, man.
I don't know about Jared Goff.
I don't know, man. San Francisco is the most complete team in our conference.
Yeah.
And they're going to be home. I just don't. I don't.
In the Cowboys, you know.
If they're healthy.
I mean, the Eagles got beat 42-19. They got a garbage touchdown at the end of the game. They're not a threat to San Francisco.
If they're healthy, I think it's going to be tough to beat the 49ers, especially in San Francisco.
They are banged up now, so.
Yep. We'll see what happens down the stretch of the season, and then clearly they'll have the bye week to lick some of those wounds if they can get there, relatively healthy. We'll see what happens. They gotta lock up the number one. They need that number one seed.
They play the Rams again.
They don't have to have it.
Again. They
Unlike they play the Commanders this week, so you know they got to win there.
I just asked them. I was like, "Hey, look, man, do what you got to do. Just don't hurt us. Don't hurt anybody. The off season's almost here. People don't want to be rehabbing. Just look. If you're gonna beat us up. Just don't beat us up physically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't you beat them up physically either, man. That's our hope, Louie.
I already told them I'm not gonna stand in your way.
Don't beat them up. Just let them be healthy. They're our hope. I put on Twitter to them. Niner fans are Giants. The Niners are the Giants fans' best friends this year.
Well, we already had said that this year, the team we would be rooting for the most. 49ers. We had already said that, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now you talking about we can't hurt you up.
Beginning of November, we've been like, "Come on, San Fran."
Don't let my Cowboys get on the run. Don't let my Cowboys get on the run, boy. I ain't gonna hush.
Well, you don't have to worry about that.
Get out of here.
You ain't gotta worry about it. Christopher McLaughlin, my guy Chris, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, hey, Lou and Super Friends, 2 questions for Bad Dog. How satisfied would you be if your GM selected Malik Neighbors if you cannot trade up to get either May or Daniels in the first? Also, are you looking to replace Evan Neal already, and why?
Man, it's tough. I wouldn't. Again, I'm not gonna. I won't say I'd be satisfied. I'm not gonna be satisfied unless he takes quarterback. But if he took Malik Neighbors, I actually prefer as the wide receivers. I prefer Rome Odunze from Washington. He's a Devontae Adams type. He's a big kid. He's 6'3". He's got a great physical skill set. I mean, he always gets open. He's great. Got great hands. Great catch raise. I love Odunze. He's probably my favorite receiver in the draft. I understand Malik Neighbors had a great year with LSU. And he's a beast. But wide receiver is a luxury position. Mm-hmm. And we are far away from drafting for luxury positions. I'm not going to throw a fit if he does it. Again, I have to trust my GM. He knows how to build a team. If that's the route he wants to go, I get it, but I just feel like you have to build your team from the inside out. Mm-hmm. So I would not prefer Neighbors. But again, I'm not gonna kill him, because if he doesn't like a quarterback, I don't say you can't just draft one to draft one. But again, I don't like Drake May, and I'd prefer Michael Penix. If Michael Penix is there, my brother-in-law is a Raider fan. He keeps telling me, he was like, "We're going to trade up ahead of you. We're going to trade to Arizona to get Penix." I'm like, "Stop! You're not trading up. The Raiders ain't trading up, buddy." Yeah, and then they won, and he's like, "All right, no, they're not trading up now." Yeah, he was so happy they beat Kansas City up. But yeah, I wouldn't say satisfied. But again, you're not going to get a Daniel Jones reaction out of me if he did take Malik Neighbors. So I'd just say, all right, listen, he's building a team where he thinks he's going to win. I can't get mad at him.
So what I've gathered from you is you believe in Joe Schoen.
I do.
You're going to allow him to do whatever it is he needs to do, and you're just going to support it. Even if you don't necessarily agree with it,
correct.
You're buying into what Joe Schoen is as a talent evaluator, and you're just going to allow him to build this thing. And that's kind of how I want to feel about my GM, right?
Right.
I don't have to agree, but if this is how you see fit to do things, let's roll, right?
Right. Is that you get pizza, Law?
No. Yeah, you know.
Nah.
I ain't order pizza this time. I got popcorn now, though.
He trying to be a little healthier.
Right? Yeah.
He's not really the healthiest. But no, you know, Lou, you mentioned that's a big offseason for you, us too, because the Gettleman contracts are done. Pretty much Joe Schoen's going to start to get his own guys in here. And you look at the draft picks. He's had a lot of good ones, right? McFadden's a 5th-round pick. It looks really good. Wandale looks really good. I think Wandale's our best receiver right now. I think Hyatt has a lot of talent. We just haven't seen it because we ain't got a quarterback that can get him the ball. Evan Neal's been no good, and I see that's the second part. We'll get that in a second. I think Thibodeau has the ability to be a superstar, but he's got to be more consistent. But I do. I believe, and look at Banks. Look at Tay. I mean, he's a beast. I mean, that kid can play. So I like what Shane's done. I feel like he's been a good evaluator of talent. We just had a lot of work to do, and they kind of accelerated the process. And at least for me, they got my hopes up because they really took a gigantic step forward, which I didn't expect them to take last year. As far as Evan Neal goes, I'm not ready to give up on him. I mentioned it earlier. If he does not work out a right tackle, I think you have to try to move him inside. But I really think you got to get rid of the offensive line coach. Without question. I cannot think of the guy's name. It's Feliciano. He goes to San Fran. He's in San Fran, right? Joe Feliciano.
I'm trying to think if he's in. I don't know if he's in San Fran or not.
I think, well, wherever. I thought it was San Fran. I could be wrong. But he's playing his ass off. He was terrible here. And every guy that goes from the Giants to another team is great. Yeah. And they're horrible here. The common denominator is that O-line coach. I would say they're not going to give up on Evan Neal. He's a 7th overall pick. You have to get rid of Bobby Johnson. You have to start him at right tackle and see what he does there. And if he's no good, again, you got to try to move him inside. They did with Pugh. They didn't do it with Flowers. But Washington did it with Flowers, and it ended up working out, and he got paid. So I'm not ready to give up on Evan Neal yet. He has not been good, but there's too much talent there, in my opinion. Just quit on the guy. Right. He's too young still.
You got a hole in your lip, Law. What's going on up there with that popcorn,
man? Hey, man, the beard hair get in the way sometimes. Look, I call it the flavor saver, man.
There you go. That was funny. Die-hard Giants fan. Thank you for the super sticker.
My guy, Die-hard Giants fan, the only moderator in the chat.
That's right.
Shout out.
We got to do better, man.
I got Sadiq. Sadiq is
my guy.
Yeah, we got to do better. Man, not the only way to get us moderate. Stelios 300 Cowboys. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes? Giants almost got that butt.
We're close, man. We're close.
Close, man.
We scared him if nothing else.
Hey, look. I know he was over there sweating bullets, man.
I know Lowe's. I know Lowe's like, come on, Tom.
Come on, man. Hey.
You're not on the side.
I was a Giants fan for a second, man.
I bet you were. I
just had some blue on, you know what I'm saying? The real blue, I guess, you know. The Cowboys.
It was a different shade of blue, but you had some blue on.
Yeah, I had some blue on.
He said CD is the key. Pound the running backs. Make golf run for his mother effing life. Hashtag DC4 law. Booyah.
Yeah, booyah. Yeah.
Here we go.
You was just, hey, bad dog. I said, man, you were just looking for a reason to play that. He went out his way to reference that so he could just.
Yeah. Here we go.
It is rare that I live stream a game that's not the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
And I did do the Cowboys Eagles game where the Cowboys blew them out, and I was doing that a lot. People were great to kick out of me going, "Here we go!"
You got it. You got it too. You got it too.
Here we go. Yes.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, it's a dope cadence, man.
Yeah. It used to be Omaha. That was
White 80. You know, kill. You know,
I liken it to Cam's. You remember?
Ready?
Yeah. I liken it to that, and you get certain cadences that are just like different than everybody else's. That's pretty dope, man. That one stands out. Still ain't gonna win a damn thing, but that's cool. Don't know, Lucci 650. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Writes, keep doing your thing, guys. Always tune in to the Super Friends. Shout out to all the products of their circumstances. You know what it is, man. We struggling over here. We on the struggle.
Yeah, we struggle. Me and Louie always sit at the bottom.
Hey, last year I went to the playoffs.
Last year I had fun.
Last year I was on the couch singing "Lonely." I'm so
he usually has company with us. We usually sit right next.
Hey, this year I got my road dog. He back with me, bad dog. Is back right with me on the couch.
Hey, that boy, you had a video. Come on right here. Come on right here. Come on right the couch.
Hey, I made the video last year when Dallas lost.
That hurt. That damn video. I hope you take it down. You took it down. Come on right here.
Like, hey, Cowboys just got here. Yeah. I said, oh, how many you say you wanted butter, right? How many shots? They said they want 2 shots of butter. So, hey, y'all gonna be right on the couch next to us next year during the playoffs, right after it could be wild card this year, man. I mean, I don't know. Y'all might. I think y'all should be able to take Tampa, but
I do too.
Never know, man. I won't underestimate. Like you looking at Tampa like food, and I'm like, you really
Hey, they look, people look. We haven't won on the road last year in 30 years, and people was like, yeah, Cowboys gonna lose. We never beat Tom Brady, even though he was 55. How old Tom Brady is? So last year, people were saying we were gonna lose last year.
That was. I think that was LB. I know. I didn't think y'all were gonna lose. They were terrible last year.
Yeah,
they limped into the playoffs. I didn't think y'all was gonna beat them the way. I mean, y'all beat them like they stole something, right? I didn't think you were gonna do that to them.
So we're all breaking out the $100 shots of soda bottle.
Yeah. So somebody shoot that $100 up in there. I'll take this shot. You know.
Hey, look,
Mr. Black Dog.
The first thing that I saw when we got in here was somebody was like, "Hey, Law, take a shot.
Take a shot, Law."
The first thing I saw when we got in here. So you know they looking for it now. You just started something. You just started something. Let's see. Independent outsider. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes? Appreciate y'all. Now I got to rewind.
Yeah, you the man.
I always
the man.
Appreciate you, man. Seriously. Relic, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Relic writes, "Sup, bad dog? Much love. Hey, Louie, are you guys going QB in the first round in the draft?" Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
I think Washington needs a stick. I mean, Louie's got a hat. It says New Howell order.
Yeah, that's right.
How can it be new? It's gonna be old and can't do that. You got to keep them around. You got to, consistency pays. Trust me, I'm a Giants fan. We have no consistency over here, so we lose every year.
Yeah.
Got to hold on to Bieniemy and Rivera and Howell. You got to run it back.
You trying to do what we used to do. We used to have this thing when we call protect Gettleman at all costs.
At all costs.
We used to have a thing that we call protect Gettleman at all costs.
Yeah, we're protecting. We're starting to petition over here to protect Ron Rivera.
Yeah, no, he's a national treasure. That has to be outside of this debate.
Hey, listen, Gettleman don't have a job. He could be a good GM for you guys.
Yeah, no, he's retired. Remember, he didn't quit. He retired.
Come back, and the Giants allowed him to retire. They're going to fire him, but the Giants are nice, and they said, "Hey,
He's gonna stay right where he is.
Be your GM, draft Bo Nix, and
that's a good one. Man, no, you should be a stand-up comedian.
I'm a Giants fan. I know all about a comedy of horrors. Trust me when I tell you.
Hey, we right there, man. I mean,
I know.
Boy.
Thank God I got one another on this.
Ooh, if it wasn't for you guys, I don't know what I would do. And I
feel the same way about you.
Exactly. I'm about to say the future, the feeling's mutual. And at least you beat us. We can't even beat you.
I got that.
So
I got that.
That's the thing. I just at least we got company. We not if you were doing what you did last year again, and I was at the bottom, like this would be absolute misery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like doing this by yourself. Because at least last year, we didn't fade until the end.
Right. Yeah,
we were right there. The whole division was right there.
Everybody right there.
We faded at the end. So it wasn't like we were terrible and we were watching the other three teams be prosperous.
Right. We all finished 500 or better last year.
Yeah, I mean, we had this time last year, we were playing a massive game on Sunday Night Football, right?
Yep.
It felt like the old days, bad dog.
It did.
For a second, it felt like the old days, the good old days.
Good old days. Mortimer. We're back.
That's right. That's right.
It felt like the good old days, man. Just for a second.
Frozen concentrated orange juice.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
frozen
right.
concentrated juice, or orange concentrated.
That's
juice.
right. We dated ourselves with that reference.
Look, man, that's a hell of a movie. Trading Places is a classic, man.
It is absolutely.
A lot of people don't understand how that connects to Coming to America when he gave him the money.
Yeah.
As he's walking to the restaurant, he comes knocking on the window like, "Thank you so much. Let's do lunch." Right? They don't even know where that came from. Right?
He ain't lying.
But again, we dating ourselves, right?
I'm still not talking to you.
Right.
Yeah.
He said, Mortimer, what is it? I'm still not talking to you. Look.
Yeah,
we're back.
What'd you give him? Oh, I just gave him some pocket change. In Coming to America, they also
Green Bay.
Yeah,
the Giants versus the Green Bay.
The Giants are New York. Their loved one goes to a big H. The most ripping victory.
Yeah.
He said,
"Hey, if you want to keep working here, pay off the drugs."
Right. Yes.
Reedy Davis, thank you for the super chat. Greatly. Oh wait, did I answer the question? Yes, we're drafting the first round quarterback. Now you say another like we've done this a million times. I mean, Dwayne Haskins was a mistake, and that was on Daniel Snyder. We didn't even want him. Our scouting department, nobody wanted Dwayne Haskins. Jay Gruden didn't want him. That was a Daniel Snyder call there.
May he rest in peace. Yeah.
But yes, Dwayne Haskins was not a guy that we necessarily targeted in Washington. So yes, I mean that was what 4 years. That was 2019 draft. That
was that draft.
The Daniel Jones draft. So
that was the Daniel Jones draft. That's one of that's my most famous moment in the history of me being on social media.
But even the Giants, they don't have a real good track record. Mac Barkley, was he drafted? No, he was for another team. My bad.
Yeah,
that Giants.
He was
Carolina,
like Arizona, or something like that.
Yeah. And then he came over there to the Giants.
Yeah, I don't think he was a first round pick anyway, though.
Who's that?
Matt Barkley.
Matt Barkley was an Eagle, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, he was an Eagle. Yeah, I don't think he was a. He was.
I thought he was a first round draft pick. He wasn't. Okay.
I think the last USC quarterback to go in the first round,
Sam Darnold
was Darnold, and before him it was
maybe
Liner.
Oh, no, Sam wasn't. Mark Sanchez was a USC guy. He went to the Giants.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Dirty Chad. They had a run. They had a run there, right? It was Palmer, then it was Liner, then it was Dirty Chaz, and then it was Darnold, right? And now it's going to be Caleb Williams.
And Caleb, I'm going to say this: Caleb is a Sooner. He's not.
You claiming him, but he don't claim you though. You claiming him, but he don't claim you.
Listen, I claim him because Lincoln Riley took him there. We all know Lincoln Riley just brought Oklahoma's song and dance at USC. They don't play no defense.
They don't play any defense.
So Palmer been the better one out of all of them.
Caleb Williams all they want. USC wins 3 games without Caleb Williams this year. 3.
Palmer.
Yeah,
Palmer, the better one out of all of them.
He's the best of all of them. He's the only one that made it to a championship game.
Yeah.
Well, no, I take that back. Dirty Chaz went twice to the championship game.
At least you ain't call him butt fumble, you know.
No, it's Dirty Chaz. It's always Dirty Chaz. Reedy Davis, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Lou, if we move on from Sam, does Bad Dog move on from Daniel Jones?
Yes.
They're moving on from him, but I don't know if it's going to be this year or not. They've hinted at drafting a quarterback. I think that their GM desperately wants to draft a quarterback, but I don't know if he's going to reach. I don't know if they're going to trade up.
He won't reach.
Yeah. I don't see them being like, you have to love the quarterbacks.
And if he loves him, he'll try to get him.
Yes. And I agree with you with doing that. I've said this. If you don't love anybody but Caleb and the Bears are like, we're not trading the pick, sort of like 2020 for us. Like the only quarterback I loved in that draft class was Joe Burrow. Like it's funny because revisionist history now. We should have taken Herbert. We should have taken Tua. You didn't love Herbert in that draft. Nobody did. That's why he fell all the way to 7. The Dolphins took Tua, and Tua was coming off a hip surgery, right?
The Giants actually loved Herbert, but he stayed in college. That was what gentleman wanted. He wanted, and that's a point you do not reach for the quarterback. That's what happened to us in 2019. They had every intention of drafting Justin Herbert, and he decided to go back to Oregon for a senior season.
Everybody loved Herbert then. That was different. Everybody loved Herbert because that draft class, if you remember, that wasn't a good quarterback draft.
Was not. Outside of Kyler Murray, it wasn't.
Outside of Kyler Murray, there was nobody. So everybody was looking at Herbert because Murray was on one end of the spectrum because he's like this dwarf, crazy athlete.
Yeah.
But, Herbert was this big hulking figure, and that's what everybody was looking for. So he was the prize, and then he went back to school. Yeah. So then it was like, okay, well, it's Murray, and then it was Jones, it was Haskins, it was Locke. It was bad, right?
Will Greer, I think, went in that draft.
Yeah. He was to Carolina. It was a bad draft for quarterbacks other than Kyler Murray. So he would have been the pick, obviously, but he went back to school, like you said. And so.
And then the Giants reached. Like, Dave Goodwin said they watched one series in the Senior Bowl, and they're sold on Daniel Jones. Like, what the hell's that? What are you talking about?
I'm so glad y'all took him because
that's why I got so mad. I got so mad at that because I thought the whole time, like a lot of people found me because of the Daniel Jones. Like I said, 15 million people saw that reaction. Not my video per se, because I got no credit for the video, but it was everywhere. It was a compilation of reactions, and my thumbnails actually was on SI.com. My face like this. And, but I wanted Josh Allen, the edge rusher. That was my guy. I didn't want a quarterback. I wanted Kyler Murray. That was it. We weren't getting him. So but yeah, the popcorn and the beard are like Daniel Jones.
Wait a minute, I have to go eat off camera.
We gotta get him a little dust buster.
I don't have my good phones well.
But
popcorn was stubborn.
I wanted Josh Allen. So when Josh Allen actually fell to that position, because I did not think he was getting past the Raiders, and it took Farrell. I knew Devin White was going to Tampa. I was so pissed. I was so mad. I couldn't believe it because all this talk came out. I'm like, that's got to be a smoke screen. There ain't no way the Giants are taking Daniel Jones. I didn't even know who the hell he was because I'm like, who watches Duke football? Not me. Yeah. So, yeah, I always tell Giants fans, don't expect that again. That was like a perfect storm. I won't react like that again. I may not be happy, but that where I really went off the rails probably not happening again. Never say that.
That was my reaction. So that was your Daniel Jones was my Daron Payne. I went off, and I didn't go viral or anything like you did, but fans that have been following me or viewers that have watched me for that amount of time always go back to that. Like that's their one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, I'm never gonna do that again.
Listen, I made an Instagram account just because everybody told me my thumbnail was on CBS Sports on Instagram because for the draft the next year they were talking about it. I'm like, I got to get on Instagram, and then I did, and so.
But all of y'all were better than ours this year. We were catfish. Everybody like, the Cowboys drafted Not Mozzie Smith, but Nolan. We thought we got the kid that went to the Eagles.
Yeah.
And we were like, yeah. They're like, nah.
Not that Smith.
Not that Smith.
Yeah, not that Smith.
We were like, wait a minute. Mozzie Smith. I had Mozzie going in the second or third round.
Yeah. And for good reason.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wilfredo Elias, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Wilfredo writes, Happy New Year's to the NFC EAST Super Friends. Appreciate you, man. Happy New Year's to you.
Happy New Year, baby.
Blessings to you and all your families. Likewise, man. We appreciate that. Get your jokes out now because change is a coming in 2024. Hashtag HTTC. Tell them, Wilfredo. Get the jokes in now. Load them up. Get them all in now. And they know this. They know they don't want to hear my mouth. Okay. Because they still talking about how I used to act when we were 7-9 and we went.
The champ is here.
Yeah, they remember.
Yeah, we remember. Up, man.
They don't want to let this. They don't want to let me out of the. They don't want to let me out of the bag, right? They don't want to let this cat out of the bag. Keep me in the box because if they open it up, they open the Pandora's box, and they ain't no putting me back in. It's over, and they know it.
Hey, listen, I'm the same way, man. You don't want me out.
We saw last year. We
right.
saw that.
You don't want me out.
We saw that.
Yeah. Don't let the dog out the cage, boy. You let the dog out the cage. Look out.
Hey, we saw. It was funny. LB was like, "Yo, I'm not used to this, man."
Yeah, right. You know what the hell?
He's like, "I'm bad dog.
I'm not bad dog."
That's what he made. That's what he made the Tiki Barber comment. He was on.
Yeah. He was. Tiki Barber is better than Emmett Smith.
Right.
I stand by it. I stand by it.
Treat him like we was on Around the Horn or something. I had to mute him for a second.
I stand by it.
I had to give a timeout.
Hell, I even have merchandise that says Tiki Barber fame, baby.
And then it roll over this year. Eli Manning is better than Troy Aikman. You remember the early part of this year?
I didn't say just Troy Aikman. I said Eli Manning is better than any quarterback Dallas has ever had.
Oh, see that. And that one,
say it again. Say it again.
Eli Manning is better than any quarterback. He's way better than Troy Aikman.
Be out of your goddamn mind.
see, you want some of this popcorn or something?
Hey, play the Jerry. Play the Jerry.
Yo, what about Jerry?
Get your damn act together. I like your attitude.
Watch your damn attitude.
And he's saying it with his chest. Eli Manning is better than Roger Staubach.
Yeah,
better than Troy Aikman.
He's better than Troy Aikman. The Staubach one, I can't really say. I didn't see Staubach play. But Aikman, man, come on. Aikman had the greatest team ever. Some best offensive line. An average running back that had a great offensive line.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm a hater.
He called Emmitt Smith an average running back.
I hate Emmitt Smith. Hate him.
Yeah, I know. He had a broken shoulder and he was still able to run.
Hey, listen, I give Evan all the respect in the world.
The man who won on
93, I gave him all the respect in the world. Greg Jackson hammered his ass. He played with like a separated shoulder and he kicked our ass. In that game, I remember going, I'm like, I hate that son of a bitch. I'm like, but I got to give him credit, man. That guy's a tough son of a bitch. I had to give him credit. I don't have to give him credit now. Screw him. I hate Emmitt Smith. Damn straight. I like the Cowboys. They're going to tell you. Hey, listen, did you see the video I made?
Oh, yeah. I saw that video and how you hate the Cowboys. Yeah.
So I can tell you this. When we lost 40-0, I remember going to my post-game video. I go, this is going to be one of the highest viewed videos I have ever made. It sure as shit had like 65,000. Because I knew. And I said, right, Cowboys fans, take a piece of me. You deserve it. I talked all this shit all off season, all week. And we didn't even show up. Got embarrassed. Embarrassed.
I mean, the football gods did that, man, because you was talking too much stuff. You put it on.
Me too. I said a prayer for the Giants. After they lost to the 49ers,
so bad.
On Thursday night.
That was rough. That was a rough. I knew. I was like, I'm watching the game, like, oh my God, I'm gonna get filleted. But I didn't run. I made my post game. I did my therapy session. I was on Twitter all week. I'm like, I'm not running from this. I dug my grave. Now I gotta jump in and pull the dirt on top of me. Let's go.
The only argument that you had that was really accurate was Michael Parsons ain't LT.
Yeah.
That's the only time that I was like, hey, come on, Cowboy Nation. Let's slow that down a little bit, because some of the Cowboy fans are not old enough to see.
They don't know what else.
They don't know about it. So
Don't understand. They look at sacks, they look at this, and like,
LT different.
Play.
He was doing it all with extracurricular. Oh, oops, I'm loud. Huh?
He learned from Hollywood Henderson, man. Hollywood Henderson was his guy. Hollywood wore number 56.
56. Punt return.
Why remember that? He wore 56. LT was 98 in North Carolina. Why do you think he wore 56? He liked Hollywood.
Yeah,
it was his guy. Yeah, LT was a beast. Boy, I'd say those are the good old days. I'm glad I'm old. I got to watch that.
Real football, huh?
That's fair. Listen, man, I got to talk to one of my heroes, man. You know, that's
talk about Carl Banks.
Carl Banks.
That was amazing. Being able to talk to Carl Banks for an hour and a half. That was one of the best things I've done.
That's awesome. You win. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, don't matter. Niners ain't winning the Super Bowl. I don't know about that. Ravens for sure.
As long as nobody else in the NFC wins it, I'm fine.
Andy outcoached this last year, and there's turmoil in the locker room. #rap. I'm gonna tell you this: whether they win it or not is of no consequence, as long as it's not Philly or Dallas.
Right.
Oh man, I don't want the Niners to win. I'd rather for. I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna give them life, but
why do you dislike the Niners so much?
Well, his brother's a 49ers fan.
Oh, my sister's a 49er fan. No lie.
Two, I think I can't speak for him, but both of y'all have the same amount of Super Bowls, right?
Yep. We
got. You don't want them to leave. Go to
yeah. Me and the Steelers was having that fight. I got an uncle that's a Steelers fan, but not they had that win over us for so long.
Yeah.
Okay, I
always talk about Neil O'Donnell.
I remember seeing this like on Twitter. I'm like, you guys haven't had a rivalry since the 90s. Like, there's no rivalry here anymore. Neither one of you won a damn Super Bowl since 94 or 95. It was the last time either one of you won anything.
But at least the 49ers have been.
But the Niners have been close. The Niners get there.
It's been 27 years for us, 28 years for them. Just because they came first place losers, I'm not finna sit there and give them accolades for going all the way to the Super Bowl and losing. I seen my brother laid out like Family Guy when the Ravens beat the doggone 49ers in that Super Bowl. I said, man, I don't want to know that feeling. And then he went back and they lost to the Chiefs. My brother was buried. Like he said, buried. See, I know how y'all Eagles fans feel too. Losing that Super Bowl last year. They might play it all, but they were hurt, bro.
Oh, no, that
hurt. I know. Yeah.
I'll be honest. The one Super Bowl I saw the Giants lose, I really was not hurt because that's one of them games. I mean, that sucks losing. I didn't think we were getting there. I didn't think we were getting past Minnesota. And when we blew them the hell out in 2000, I remember thinking we could beat Baltimore. I remember thinking we got a chance. Both teams play good defense. But that game, I'm just like, the better team won. That happens sometimes.
Right.
The way Philadelphia lost last year, like that made me feel good because that had to be grueling. The fact that came down to the end and they lost the way they lost.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that former Giants helped the Giants. Bradbury with the holding, right? With pass interference. Darius Tony was complete ass, and he's still ass. And Pat Mahomes hates him, and he's offside. It's not a game to play. He's dropped 2 passes that have led to pick sixes. It just cracks me up how bad he's. But in that game, he helped the Giants. So I was like, okay, and that's the best $100 I've ever spent. I don't bet like I never put $100 on a team. I said I'm putting $100 on Philadelphia because if they're going to win, I'm going to cash. And if they don't,
it was a happiness hedge. It was a happiness.
Best $100 I've ever spent was to watch them lose the damn Super Bowl the way they lost it. And on top of it, I hit a Super Bowl square at half, so I ended up getting my money back plus $100.
Wow.
So the football gods were with me, Louie.
Yes,
they're with you.
They will bless you sometimes, man. When you've gone through what you've gone through of late. Yeah, what I've gone through, I know the blessing is coming, man. It's just
coming, man.
How big is it gonna be? It's coming, man. I've been going through it for a long time. It's coming.
Yeah,
it's coming. Says he says Andy outcoached us last year, and there's turmoil in the locker room. #rap. I think the 49ers are good, and I think if they play the Ravens again, I think they can beat them. They were moving the ball. It's the same thing I said earlier
Yeah,
they were moving the ball. They just turned it over. And I don't know if you can count on getting turnovers every single time you play a team, right? Like,
Well,
that was great.
We'll see if they both make it back. I mean, a lot can happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's no guarantee. Well, first of all, Baltimore doesn't have any success in the postseason whatsoever with Lamar Jackson. None.
It's kind of like that.
I got Buffalo going to the AFC Championship game. And I said that after they lost to Philadelphia. I said, they're going to get hot. They're going to turn their season around, and they're going to make the AFC Championship game because, to me, in the AFC, there's no Burrow this year. The Chiefs are definitely not going back. And really, if Lamar can't do it this year, if Josh Allen can't do it this year, when are they going to do it? It's paved for them.
It got to be Lamar. It got to be Lamar at least Super Bowl appearance this year. They stacked.
It's got to be this year.
Got to be.
Got to be this year.
Well, listen, locking go. We saw last year. San Francisco lost both of their quarterbacks.
Yep.
I mean, anything can happen.
Yep,
it really can.
I think Huntley is really good backup quarterback for the Ravens, though.
I mean, he is.
He ain't win no Super Bowl with Tyler.
Yeah, he ain't gonna win no Super Bowl. I'm talking about at least he should have at least a chance though to win a game in playoffs.
Should, but again, the team that gets hot. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. I think Buffalo could come out of the AFC.
I already said that.
I think Buffalo is
the AFC Championship game.
Extremely dangerous,
depending on who they play and how all that shakes out. But Buffalo is the team I'm riding with.
Chargers almost had them, man. If they didn't,
that's how it goes like that sometimes. Just win. Just win.
Okay. Ask the Eagle fans. I mean, they've had a couple games where they just squeaked by, but they won.
Find a way to win because they're playing in the playoffs right now. I think what happened in that game is they looked down their nose at the Chargers. Eastern stick, no Keenan Allen, no problem, and they almost fell into the trap.
Yeah, 10-0. Yeah, and they came back. So, yeah, you're right.
I think they play Miami the last week of the season, so Buffalo could actually end up winning the division.
Yeah, they do. They need them to lose the Baltimore.
They need Miami to lose.
Right.
Yeah,
they need them to lose one game prior to that game, and then that game in Week 18 would be for the division if Buffalo wins out. Which they're not losing this week. I think they got New England this week, if I'm not mistaken. They're not losing to the Patriots. So, Reedy Davis, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, Lou, tell Law Cowgirls always one and done. They weren't one and done last year.
Yeah. Wasn't one and done last year. So always be complete.
They can return back to their original form, though.
They can.
They could.
And when they mention Cowgirls, what that means when that team beat y'all, I think he'd probably be an Eagles guy. So if we beat them 33-13, that means they got beat by a bunch of girls. Now.
I think he's got to be. I think he's a Commander fan just because he said Lou.
Reedy Davis is definitely a Commanders fan.
Oh, a Commander fan. Well, hey, we beat y'all. You know what I'm saying? On Thanksgiving, ask Reedy how he was eating or she was eating on Thanksgiving.
I told them don't even wait on this game to eat. Enjoy yourself. Don't even pay attention to this Thanksgiving because I already knew how. I was just proud they hung in there for 3 quarters. Like personally, they didn't embarrass me until the 4th quarter.
I mean that's not bad because we got embarrassed in the 1st quarter both times we played Dallas. So
I was like, hey, we were right in that thing.
Dallas, the second game we played Dallas had like 400 yards of offense in the first half.
You jumping in the salvation bucket,
man. They threw alley-oops. They were jumping in, eating turkey legs. It got bad, real fast, man.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? All of that it was a necessary evil. Everything that's happening is supposed to happen to us to ensure that change happens and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Change you can believe in.
That's right. That's what we're about to get. Duncan Wright, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, hey, everyone, I'd like to point out on August 20th on Bad Dog's 24-hour stream, Louie T admitted at 2:55 a.m. this man went and timestamped and that he loves Jalen Hurts. Discuss.
I never said I love Jalen Hurts. I don't know what Louis said. 2:55 in the morning. I've been live streaming.
He said I said that, not you.
No, I know. I'm saying I never said it. I don't know what Louis said.
I know what I said. I said that I love Jalen Hurts, the way he plays and his demeanor. And if he played for a different team, I would be rooting like hell for him.
Oh, I probably said the same thing.
Yeah. I think all 3 of us said the same thing.
Yeah, he didn't play for Philadelphia. I would definitely root.
But I can't. He plays for the Eagles. I can't stand him.
He was a Sooner. I mean, he played for the Sooners last year, but I still consider him Crimson Tide.
Roll
Tide. Roll Tide.
Like you claim Caleb.
I bet you Tua, but I still consider him, Alabama. But one thing I do remember on the 24-hour stream, Louie's a big wrestling fan. Louie and I
talked about.
We had to talk about 2 hours about old school wrestling. It was great.
I'm like, jumped on it like 3 in the morning, and we talked about 5 something in the morning.
Good. It was good. So when I do it again in August, you have to have Louie back out. We're gonna talk about some more Macho Man and Demolition.
Look, man, I'm gonna do like you did last time. When you need me the most, when you're starting to fade at like 3 o'clock in the morning, that's when I'm gonna jump in there and give you that energy you need to hit the finish. Rhonda's lovely Sparks.
Yay!
That greatly appreciate you. Writes Dallas Cowboys #1 in NFL value, $9.2 billion. Giants #2. Cowboy Nation. What are your thoughts?
Oh, Giants creeped up on their money.
I didn't know we were #2.
I thought it was the Patriots or someone,
it was usually for the years.
Well, imagine the Giants were good.
But the Giants are also a blue blood too.
We are. Yeah. We been around for 100. Listen, I tell my kid this all the time. My kid's almost 7. So you have to be Giants and Yankees. You don't have a choice. I said my grandpa was Giants. He was alive when they were conceived in 1925. So my grandfather, my dad, and me, it's our bloodline. Same thing with the Yankees. My grandfather saw Babe Ruth play. My dad grew up a Yankee fan. I'm a Yankee fan. You got to be that. I said basketball, neither my grandfather nor my dad were really big basketball fans. I chose the Knicks because they were New Yorkers. So you don't have to be a Knicks fan. You don't need to suffer through the hell that I've suffered through my whole life being a Knicks fan.
They're better now, though.
The Knicks are going to do it last year to win the first round. They get knocked out by the Sixers, the Celtics, the Bucks. Oh, they beat the Bucks last time they played them, which was nice. Finally, Brunson had to go off again, but Brunson was. I don't want to make it a basketball thing, but Jalen Brunson had a great signing for the Knicks.
Yeah, that's probably been the thing I've been the most wrong about over the last probably 5 to 10 years in terms of a free agent signing. I killed the Knicks for that signing. Killed them. I'm like,
I didn't kill him. I didn't think he was a game changer, but he's a game changer.
He has been everything and then some for them.
He's been amazing. He's been amazing.
But I'm gonna tell everybody for this house, if you live in here, you sieve in blue. You gotta stay.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah, no choice. No choice. I have
I'm going to tell you this right now. Giants fans in my stream about this. Mm-hmm. My son knows already. He don't watch the games. He watches little parts of it and he goes away. But he comes back and he sees the Cowboys are losing. He's like, "Yeah, Daddy, we're happy. The Cowboys are losing." He says the same thing when he was watching the Eagles against the Niners. He walked back, sees the scores like 42-13. He goes, the Eagles lost. I'm like, I taught him well. Taught my kid well.
Yeah, you see one of the greatest running backs of all time right here.
I'm going to tell y'all a story real quick. I got a good story for y'all. I think I've been waiting to tell this.
What am I looking at here? I need a Tiki Barber one because Tiki
they don't make them. They kept dropping them, fumbling them.
Tiki cleaned up the fumbles at the end of his career. I've never had a year where he rushed for 1,860 yards.
Oh, here you go with this. Hey, Emmitt Smith still hold the playoff touchdown record with 19. I don't think nobody got
Barber's fault that the Giants couldn't get into the damn play. Emmitt Smith played twice as long as Tiki did.
Because that should be part of the accolades that go on the positive side. To be able to evade and elude and stay upright. Come on, man. That's the trait.
He's tough.
Him and Jason Witten have,
Tough. He was tough. Emmitt Smith was tough. I give him that. He was tough son of a bitch. He was.
Nobody's gonna beat his record though, by the way. 18,000,
I think Barry Sanders. If Barry played as long as him, Barry would have had about 10,000 more yards than him. Of course. That's true.
Not gonna go into that discussion then.
I know you're not.
Of course not. My son, he's 5 now.
Okay.
And he went to school, and his first trip to the library, because he knows what I do, right? And so he's like, "Dad, you about to talk about football?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I'm like, so he goes to school, and he brings home a library book.
Yeah.
And what team do you think it was?
Cowboys.
Of course, it was the Cowboys.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I said, "Son, you put this book back in your bag. And you never bring this book back home again." Okay. I said, they're the bad guys. I said, there are 3 bad guys. Okay. The Eagles, the Giants, and the Cowboys.
Why are we bad?
Because you're in the division. I hate you guys just as much as everybody else.
I don't hate you guys. I don't like you, but I don't hate
indoctrination. Indoctrination. Keep going. Keep going. Entrapped in that. Man.
Because you know, there are Cowboy stuff everywhere. Right?
Of course.
You go to the library. Oh my God, the Cowboy books everywhere. So he naturally just football saw it. First thing he saw, Cowboys brought it home. I said, son, you put that back in your backpack. You take it back to school. You give it back to the librarian, and you never bring another Cowboys book home. He's like, why? I said, because they're the bad guys. I said the Eagles, and I showed him the Eagles. I said they're the bad guys too. And I said the Giants, they're the bad guys too. He said, okay. I said, and then I showed him us. I said, these are the good guys. Okay. So he says, okay, so they're the good guys. So he knows that the Eagles, the Cowboys, so anytime he sees the Eagles and he sees that they're losing, he's like, yeah, they're the bad guys, right, Dad? Yeah.
Yep. Same thing. I teach them early.
You're young, right? So we're watching the game on Sunday, the Cowboys and Dolphins. And the Cowboys scored a touchdown to take the lead. He's like, oh, man, Daddy, the bad guys are winning.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but they're going to lose, son. They're going to lose.
You wrong, man. I'm going to call CPS, man. We're going to call CPS.
He goes, Daddy, we're happy they lost, right? I said, yeah, we're happy they lost.
Did you tell him the story about Granddad? Did you tell him about it?
Granddad don't have the influence that I have. Granddad can try, but Granddad don't have the influence that Dad has.
Oh, let him keep it for one summer. That's all we need. Let him keep it for a whole summer.
It's too late now. I've already shaped his brain into what it needs to be. Granddaddy can't change that now. I got to it. Granddad got to him first, he brought that book home to Granddad, we could have had a whole different discussion. But I got to him first, like I was supposed to.
Yeah, good.
You doing a horrible job, Louie T. We call it CPS, man. I do
the same thing with my kid knows. He's we don't like Dallas. He comes down once in a while. Like, what do we say? It's like Eagles stink. My chat love. They know.
Oh man, that's good stuff. Mario, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Mario writes, who's the best quarterback in the NFC? Who's the best wide receiver? You talking about the entire conference? I'm assuming you said NFC, not NFC East. So you're talking about the whole conference.
In NFC, you got to say Dak, Purdy, Goff, Stafford.
I'd pick Purdy first.
Hurts.
Yeah, I'd put Purdy ahead of Dak right now.
That's tough.
You must be out of your goddamn mind.
In 1 year, Purdy has the same amount of playoff wins as Dak, right?
Oh, come on, man. Well, if that's the case, Jimmy Garoppolo, when he was in the NFC, he had more playoff wins than doggone Aaron Rodgers.
Ever been in the MVP conversation ever in his life?
Hey, he went to the Super Bowl.
I didn't ask you. We talking about that though. I'm asking you, has he ever been in the MVP conversation? Like this man.
But that's bull sugar, man. Come on.
Hey, look, I'm just telling you. Brock Purdy's in the MVP conversation. Probably not gonna win it after the 4 interception game.
Yeah.
But he was in that conversation, right? He is going to lead his team to the #1 seed, more likely than not, in the NFC this year. He's going back to the playoffs again. He played in the NFC Championship game in his first year, right? Not even a full starter that year. The first year he started, he took his team to the NFC Championship game. There's a very good possibility that he's going to do it again in his second season, right? So I think right now Brock Purdy has done enough
to eclipse Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts, even at that number there, right?
Yeah, because
give me your list again. Give me your list again.
Right now, I think he's having better years. Right, I'd have to say you give it to him. I think he's been. I know he had a bad game against Baltimore, but I don't know. I just feel like he's been.
It's weird though. He's 0-4, 0-5 now without Trent. 0-4.
How many points did he put up against you and Philadelphia?
How many points?
80 something, right?
Yeah. Okay.
You guys are probably second, third best teams in the NFC, right?
When they beat
And he blew you out.
They were the best team.
I'm going to tell you something. Brock Purdy is so good. Brock Purdy is so good. I watched Eagle fans cry on Twitter for weeks after he beat their ass. Weeks afterwards.
So do you believe? Do you believe you put Kirk Cousins on the 49ers that they won't be 11-4 right now?
No, they won't be. I don't know.
You don't believe?
No, Kirk Cousins can't walk right now, so no.
Oh, okay. And, you believe you put Dak Prescott? You put Dak Prescott on the 49ers. Would they be 11-4? If Dak Prescott was on the 49ers, would they be 11-4?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I mean, if Brock Purdy's on the Cowboys, should they be 10-5?
Brock Purdy makes some
plays. Brock Purdy don't even look like Brock Purdy without Trent Williams. We had multiple games without. I got Tyron Smith. We had multiple games where we had 4 out of our 5 guys on the offensive line missing.
The question is, do the Cowboys have the best record in the league if Brock Purdy's your quarterback?
Nope.
I don't know.
I seen Brock Purdy throw 4 INTs, man, without Trent Williams.
We've seen Dak Prescott throw 4 interceptions without Tyron Smith.
When?
Not this year, but in past years, I'm pretty sure there's a 3-4 interception game in there.
I don't think he ever threw 4 of them.
So I'm pretty sure we can look through the
internet.
Like, a couple nasty games you got.
He had some nasty. He had some stinkers though. But that's what Kellen Moore. Look at what Kellen Moore made Justin Herbert look like. Justin Herbert looked like Dak. Right or wrong? Didn't Justin Herbert? Don't Justin Herbert look like Dak all of a sudden?
I can say that. I can say this: Dak is really good. Has been really good this season. Really, really good.
He was an MVP. He was my pick for MVP for the last 2 games.
And he was playing extremely well. And if you made me, so I'll just say this: what's the head-to-head record? Brock Purdy versus.
Oh yeah, he's over. He's 2-0 versus the Cowboys.
So I'm taking Brock Purdy over Dak right now. I think and I think Jalen Hurts is still second in that conversation. And
I think Dak's better than Jalen Hurts.
I think Jalen Hurts is still better than Dak Prescott.
I don't.
Riggs, he got me.
I'm taking Hurts.
No. Here's what I said. Hear me out, Louie T.
Okay.
And Bad Dog. Here's what I said. Here's what I said about, and I said this to Lord Brunson because he was willing to put Jalen Hurts over Dak Prescott. And I said, LB, what I'm gonna do is we'll wait for this year. If Jalen Hurts do the exact same thing that he did last year or better, I would say Jalen Hurts better than Dak.
But why would he have to do no? So I agree with you that I needed to see him do it again.
He didn't do it again.
But no, he did. He hasn't. The interception numbers are clearly up, and the turnovers are clearly up, right? Yeah. He's been extremely effective again. Like he's proven that last year wasn't a fluke. That's what I was looking for. I didn't think he was going to duplicate. He was damn near the MVP. If not for Patrick Mahomes playing the way he played last year, he would have won MVP last year. I didn't expect him to play at that level again. I just needed him to show me that last year wasn't a fluke. And he's shown me that already.
Jalen Hurts, but believe it or not, Jalen Hurts from a number aspect haven't even trumped Carson Wentz 2017 numbers. Look up Carson Wentz from a quarterback number perspective. I ain't finna count the tush push thing. I get it. Most Eagles fans want to count those touchdowns as tubs, but I'm talking about from a pure throwing of the ball, accuracy, touchdowns, quarterback completion percentages, as well as QBR and passer rating. He haven't even trumped what Carson Wentz did.
Wentz was going to win the MVP.
He haven't had that type of
MVP like his ACL.
He was the MVP of the league. You talking about MVP numbers, bro?
Well, wait a minute.
How standard you trying to set that man to? He's playing good. He's playing the kind of football they need him to play again. Minus the turnovers, you would like to see those come down, but minus the turnovers, he's playing the kind of football they need him to play to win and win consistently. And he's. But
what if I tell you this though?
They're not winning.
But Dak Prescott trumped those 2017 numbers multiple times of what Carson Wentz exhibited. You said that's what I'm saying. So he's not even up to that level. So what Jalen Hurts gonna have to do is maybe next year he could be entered into that conversation of being better than Dak Prescott. But for right now, he ain't better than Dak.
If they go to the playoffs and they win a game for the second year in a row, how many times has Dak Prescott led his team to the playoffs and won a playoff game? Has he even done it consecutively in his career? We know the answer. I don't have to ask.
Yeah, you don't have to answer it. But
that's a rhetorical question, okay? If he does it again this year and they go and they win a playoff game and they threaten to make,
you had to give him his flowers. Then if they go all the way to the Super Bowl and go back again, then I would give the Eagles their flowers. I would say, I would relinquish my hold on.
You're not even holding Dak to that same. Like,
he's
never been to the NFC Championship game, and you're trying to say that he has to go to the Super Bowl again just to be over Dak, and Dak's never even been to the damn championship game.
And who are you? What are you saying? Because when we first started this off, we were talking about coaching, right? We were talking about your coaching staff. So for Dak Prescott to do it for his first few years, even with Jason Garrett, and we seen what my guy Kellen Moore has been doing over there in Chargers land, it would have been damn near even impossible. It would have been even harder of a stretch to do that.
How did y'all win 12 and 13 games then?
Because of Dak Prescott. It had to be that good.
I'm confused then. So why you weren't able to do that in the
put it like this. Let me ask you this. Is Justin Herbert a better quarterback than Dak?
I think he has the potential to be, yeah. I mean, like when we make
are you seeing tangible? Are you seeing tangible regressions? I know that Herb is hurt or what have you, but have you seen tangible regressions from him since he had Kellen Moore within the confines of that system?
I'm gonna use the same excuse you used with Dak last year, man. He had a broken finger, man.
Up to that point. Wait a minute, he wasn't playing good up to that point. But what I'm saying, coaching do matter, right?
Yes,
and
course,
we can use the same argument for Hurts because this is a new coordinator for him. So
who's got better numbers than Jalen Hurts this year? Jordan Love.
Yeah, he do.
Jordan Love has way better numbers than Jalen Hurts. Way better. No, he ain't got 15 touchdowns because 3 guys push him in the ass at the 1 yard line.
Right.
He's got 27 touchdowns. Hurts has 20.
Right.
And he's thrown 13 picks. Hurts has thrown 2 touchdowns in the last month. That's it.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns in the last month, bro.
It ain't.
They'll have Dak head at a stake right now.
And they got a damn good team. He's throwing to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. He has DeAndre Swift. He's got one of the best offensive lines in the league. He's got Dallas Goedert. How much more does he need?
The Eagles. I'm not even.
Man, come on.
I want y'all to kill him. I do. But I will say this. Look at who they've played over that stretch. I just got to say that. I do have to throw that in there, right?
I know you're Louie T, but I know you ain't Louie Bronson. Come on, man.
I'm not trying to defend them at all.
He played the Seahawks. He played the Cowboys. He played the Giants.
I saw a clip of them at practice teaching this man how to fall down and not fumble.
Who Hurts?
Yeah, after the Cowboys game. There was shots of him at practice falling down, right? And he got. You should have seen how mad Jalen Hurts looked. Like he looked like why they got me doing this bullshit, man? Like literally, he would get up, they would be hitting his arm, and he would fall down in the ground, right? And then he would get up again, and they would be slapping his arm, and then he would fall down, and he'd get up. And then he handed the ball to the coach, and the next quarterback came over.
Yeah, he would pull around, tear his shoulder up doing that.
Yo, it was the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my life, man. I'm telling you,
sticks and stuff. They pushing his tush with the sticks. It was crazy, man.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, the Eagles. I'm telling you, like that group right there. I'm telling you, they're fragile. And that's why I said I want to see how they handle adversity, because we already know A.J. Brown is a head case,
right?
Yes, and Jalen Hurts, I think he's an incredible leader. And when he calls people out, I don't think
he's a leader.
I don't think he is. I don't think the other players are tough enough mentally to handle criticism, right? So
Sirianni sucks too. I hate him.
Yeah, and well, he's a big talker, right? We've seen. I've talked about this. Him going to.
He's a talker when he gets into the tunnel.
Yeah. I remember what he did to the Colts because his mentor is Frank Reich, and they fired him before that they had fired him before the Colts played the Eagles. So he took it upon himself to say, hey, I'm going to go. And they barely won that game. Remember, we had beaten them the week before on Monday night, and they limped into that Colts game, and they were down late in that game, and Hurts brought them back. And they were about to lose that game. And they won the game, and he's MF in the crowd, and, this, that, and the third, and he's killing them. And I'm like, hey, this dude is crazy, right? Like, somebody's got to teach this dude a lesson.
So we got to teach him not to eat Pizza Hut. You're an Italian guy. You don't eat Pizza Hut. Ever. Ever.
Yeah.
They got Sicilian pizza at Pizza
Hut. That ain't pizza. That ain't Italian. You don't eat when you're Italian, you don't put pineapple on your pizza and you don't order from Domino's or Pizza Hut. You might as well go to Chuck E. Cheese.
The second part of that questioning there,
receiver.
We got to put CD up there, right? In the NFC.
In the NFC. CD Lamb.
CD.
Tebow. Got
to put Justin Jefferson up there.
AJ Brown's up there.
Justin Jefferson. I know he's been injured this year, but I still.
CD's my guy. Law, you know that.
Yeah.
Cowboys fans, I have loved CD Lamb since his days in Oklahoma.
Terry McLaurin, if he had a.
I can't even.
I've said that from day one. CD Lamb is the best receiver in this division. I've never wavered on that. You know that. My guy.
I don't know, man. Him and AJ are.
I like CD Lamb so much, like I can't even like when he catches the ball. Obviously, I hate the Cowboys, but when I'm just like, hey, that guy's so damn good. CD's a beast. Like I can't even hate on him.
So far, CD got more yards, more touchdowns than AJ. So we can go back and forth and all of this stuff. But on the earlier part of the season, I did say that AJ was.
Well, AJ was an MVP candidate earlier in the year, in my opinion.
Yeah. But CD, I think he said, look, AJ, if he was saying, give me the damn ball, let me take a page from that. And then he started getting the ball. So they're neck to neck, though.
I freaking love CD Lamb.
And let's not sleep about DK Metcalf, too. You got to put DK
I bet after what he did to y'all on
I
bet you won't sleep on it no more.
Like, man, DK ain't gonna do nothing. He round his routes. My guy Bland gonna blend him. You know what I'm saying? And Bland got put in the blender. So DK made me say,
hey. Fun tonight. We was like, man. I remember I put out a tweet. I said, Bland is looking rather bland.
Moving
to the other side. We're yelling, moving to the other side, y'all. Move, put them on somebody else.
Deron is looking rather ... bland.
But he picked that ball off. Boy, we were like,
I know that one felt good, boy.
Yeah,
you got lucky that
it started with y'all played us. It started with y'all first.
You got lucky that my man dropped the ball. He was gonna run for a touchdown too. Lockett had the inside on him, and Bland was about to get cooked again. I was like, boy, he about to get worked tonight. But he dropped it at the end of that game.
You saw the Miami first play when they had the ball. Tyreek, he dropped it. I was like, dang, Bland.
Well, Tyreek had another drop on a slant that was going to be a touchdown at the end of the game. I don't know if you remember that play.
Yeah, I remember.
Tua threw it behind him. My fault. Tua threw it behind him.
Yeah,
that was a touchdown. He was going to run right by the corner. Safety was coming over. He was going to split that. Gone. But it probably happened the way it needed to because y'all ain't need to touch the ball again because y'all might have went right back down there and tried to score.
Yeah. But there's two wide receivers I would never talk about: DK Metcalf and Tyreek Hill. I would never say anything about those boys. Never again.
Yeah, you probably should add Debo to that conversation too. You probably don't want to say nothing about him.
Nah, I ain't gonna never say anything about Debo. Them three right there.
LB had to find out the hard way about talking about Debo. He talked all that trash that week about how Debo won't this and he ain't that. He ain't even no wide receiver. Boy, I ain't never seen somebody do a whole 180 that fast. That next day after that game, LB was like, "Yo, man, hey, I gotta say, man, Debo Samuel, man, he a grown man. They were scared to tackle him, man.
That's what he said. They were scared to tackle him.
Hey,
yeah. And for the Eagles fan, Smitty the one that got us. AJ didn't really do us in that game. Smitty the first time we played.
I'm just thinking of how soft Eagle players are, because I see a lot of like Giants fans. Obviously, we kill our team with good reason. I mean, we ain't happy with the way we played. With players that are underperforming, we let them have it. They don't ever respond to us. The fan, they're like, whatever. I'm not going to take the time. These Eagle players are going after. Well, Skip Bayless called him the fan. We don't know what the fan was. We know it's LB. And I saw it. So when I saw AJ Brown's, I'm like, how soft are you? I know Brunson's the man. LB's my guy, no question. But
yeah.
But you know,
it's a guy on Twitter, and you respond to a guy.
But you know, it's a little bit different too, because I'm not saying they got a relationship, but like literally, and I was gonna talk to LB about it. It's like, bro, this man is on your Twitter banner, right? Like the part of the reason Hurt season took off is because this man got one of your hats. Right. You brought it in the building, and then the next thing you know, the coach got one on his head and all kinds of stuff, and the shit took off from there, right?
That coach wore it too?
Right, yeah, the Nick Sirianni had one on too, right?
Yeah.
And that's all that was from AJ Brown, right? He took one of the teams.
So he's above criticism because he has an LB hat?
No.
Right.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is AJ Brown was probably thinking in his mind, like, bro, I showed you love by getting one of your hats and you know, doing what I did, and you criticize it, and you don't even know what you're talking about. You gonna criticize me like that? Like in his mind, that was almost like backstabbing, so to speak. Like, how you gonna come at me like that? First of all, you don't even know the play call. You don't even know what you're talking about because he called it buddy ball. Like a lot of times we see quarterbacks do this all the time where they just don't see a guy, right?
All right. I know it as good as anybody.
They just don't see that guy, right? Wide ass open, and we see it at home, but you don't know what that quarterback's looking at. And AJ's, from his perspective, I'm the number one read on this play. If I got one-on-one, he's coming to me. It ain't nothing else to talk about. Me one-on-one is like Devontae running wide open underneath on a shallow cross. We taking that all day. It just, they didn't hit, right? And that was his point. But to your point, Bad Dog, why are you even responding to a fan? Right? Like but you got to understand too, Bad Dog, and you come from a different era. These young players live on social media.
That's true.
They see, they hear. You get a lot of people that try to act like, nah, I don't know what they talking about. I don't.
Oh, really. They do. No, they do.
Yeah, they listen.
Everything. They know what's being said. They know
they do. You know how I know this? Well, there's a couple of reasons. There's definitely people that have watched my stuff that I would have never known. But the perfect example is Kadarius Toney, right? Kadarius Toney blocked me on Twitter. I never added Kadarius Toney, never tagged him or anything, never. So, but on my
tag snitch you, dog. That's what they do. They tag snitch.
But on my videos, crushed them. Next thing I know, I was blocked. So I'm like, well, somebody let him know that I was saying something because I couldn't. All of a sudden, I couldn't say anything to him.
That's right.
And well, now he ain't got no Twitter, and that's because after the first game when he dropped all his passes, Giants fans
went over there,
destroyed him because he talked shit about the Giants in the offseason.
Right, because he won Super Bowl.
Like, buddy, we're happy that you won. That's how stupid you are. We're happy you got your ring. Right. You're playing the 10 more. Right.
But that's not how he was thinking. In his mind,
no, he's an idiot.
Y'all, the way he processed it is y'all was dogging me when I was in New York. So I was so happy to get out. And now that I won, he ain't thinking about it from the standpoint of,
I know he's not.
I helped y'all. I helped y'all by beating Philadelphia.
But he got wrecked in that first one.
Oh, yeah.
That was Twitter. He couldn't handle that. But this man, he didn't do it to me. He went into people's DMs.
Right.
Like DM people and threatened them and shit. He's like psycho.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He do that to me. I think he knew better. I ain't go back down from you. I'm backing down ready.
But when we start doing this content curation, these players do get sensitive. I did a film analysis breakdown. I ain't gonna say the name, but he was like, "Well, excuse me, let me know when you played in the NFL." I was like, damn, dog, why you say that? And they tore his ass up in that comment box. And I said, next time, bro, come see me in the DMs, man. Because they going to eat you up.
Yeah.
See, then like 3-4 months later, he like, damn, you was right. So that made it even more of a terrible thing. So yeah, these players listening to you now.
No,
though.
that's what I mean. Like, even if they don't see
somebody would say to me, like, if I'd kill Daniel Jones, I love when people are like, oh, well, you can't do it. I'm like, the fact that you have to compare Daniel Jones to a guy that's almost 50 making videos on YouTube, if that's supposed to strengthen your argument that Daniel Jones is better than me, that's a really bad argument. He should be better than me. Okay. I don't play in the NFL.
Right.
So if he can't be better than me, he shouldn't be in the NFL either. That's a bad comparison.
A lot of these dudes, too, if they don't see it themselves, somebody else see it and bring it to them.
That's true.
Yeah, that's what it is. They'll tag
on social media.
I'm surprised that
somebody gonna bring it to their doorstep.
Former players, different story. Like, that's one thing I love about Carl Banks. He interacts with everybody. I mean, I think that's really cool. There's a lot of former players that interact, but I was just because, like I said, I forgot who else. Somebody else said something to LB when he said you guys are soft, like they're afraid to tackle Debo. And somebody else, it wasn't AJ.
It was
I forgot who it was. It wasn't AJ Brown, but
it was Asante Samuel, I think.
Maybe, yeah, I think it was
Asante Samuel because he was like, "Nah, man, they not afraid." Like,
right?
Yeah, he was like, they had a rough day and it happens sometimes, but they ain't scared to tackle them. Like, LB was being emotional. Right.
Yeah, but he's a fan. I mean, that's what we are emotional.
Right. But that's not, but players don't they compartmentalize, right? So fans don't. We're emotional and
fanatics.
So for players, they're able to compartmentalize and move on. You lose on Sunday, we still talking about that loss into Thursday sometimes, depending on how bad it was, how who it was against. They got to move on. Like they got to by Tuesday. They watching film of the other team, the next team they playing, and they putting in a game plan on Wednesday. Like they can't sit there and dwell.
I agree. I agree.
Players don't. They don't operate like us, so
they can't.
They exactly. So they struggle with how fans react to stuff. You know what I'm saying? My psychology background, I always try to see it from both sides. I understand why they react the way that they do because, yes, they get paid millions of dollars. Yes, their occupation is on the national stage for everybody to see, right? Yeah. But you would equate it to you work at a cubicle at your job, and it would be like a player coming to your job and telling you how bad you suck. Essentially, right, at your job, and doing that on a public stage, in a public, in a social setting where everybody can see it,
right?
And how would you feel about that? And that's people can't see it that way because they're making all of this money, but they're still humans at the end of the day. They're still they're still a person, right? He still got family.
But you know what? That comes with the territory. I mean, you sign up for that.
It does, but it doesn't change the human element of it. It doesn't change how you're going to react.
But you mentioned they got to move on. So why would you even bother interacting with the fans? One thing you should know as a player, you will never win that. Ever win.
That's why when Evan Neal made that comment, I was like, bro, that's the wrong thing you can do.
I didn't even know he did that. And that's why when I saw that, I go, who wants me to make a video on Evan Neal? They're like, yeah, do it. So I wrecked his ass. Yeah. Because you can't do that. The fan base. We're the reason you exist. People are like, TV deals. Yeah, TV deals. Why do they get TV deals? Because we watch.
That's right.
We watch. If there's no money being made, if fans don't go to the game, what happens? They move out of the city. Teams relocate for that reason. Because they're not making any money. Because people stop watching. They stop going to the games. They stop watching TV. They stop selling ads. They stopped all this stuff because nobody's going. So, like I said, I understand both ways, but
I was shocked that he responded to LB. Because this is the thing about the LB. It wasn't even a malicious post.
No, what? It wasn't.
That's the thing that was shocking to me. It'd be one thing if LB went at him hard, right? He didn't even directly criticize anybody in that post. The only person he could have argued about was Jalen Hurts. But I think the buddy ball thing got him pissed off because, and I'm assuming that's not the first time he's heard that. because the way he went off about it, and then went even further to say I can't, and AJ Brown, I've talked about this before, like, not to be derogatory or anything, but he's had mental issues before, episodes before, right? Like, he talked about having suicidal thoughts before, right? This was in Tennessee, so we know.
I know all that.
Yeah, he's had some situations where he's had some mental issues before, and he had coaches that were really good to him in Tennessee that helped him along with some of those things where he was having some issues and struggling a little bit. I don't know if I might have misspoke with the suicidal thoughts, but he had some mental issues. He had some
depression,
depression.
Well, I'll be a quick plug, and it's not for months. But the next time I do a 24-hour stream for charity, that's where it's going to be based on is mental
awareness. Yeah,
it is something that is very overlooked. It really
and it's real. It exists.
It is absolutely real. As a guy that struggled with it for a lot of my adult life, it is very real.
Our parents didn't deal with that, right? Like our parents and their grandparents and their parents, they didn't deal with that.
Yeah,
they just swept that under the rug and they kept pushing. So for a lot of them, they don't understand when people are like, I need a mental health day. Like, what?
I took one a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, like they don't understand what that entails, right? But that shit is real. It's real. Like, and people are really starting to acknowledge that now because that shit is real.
Yes, that's why I wanted to do it for that. Well, I don't want to get an old thing, but like it might have been like just before you came on or just after. There was a guy talking about, I'm a loser, I hate my life, and I'm trying to talk the guy off the ledge. I'm like, listen, man, I dealt with seasonal affective disorder. A lot of people in the Northeast and Northwest suffer from it, from dark, it's always dark, it's cold, there's no sun, your serotonin levels, a lot of stuff. I'm like, you have to concentrate on positive things. Stop worrying about negative. As hard as it is. I'm like, that's what you kind of concentrate. He's like, I still live with my mom. I'm like, well, your mom loves you because if she didn't love you, you wouldn't be there. You have a job. May not be the job you want, but you have a job. So you're better off than a lot of people. Yeah. So, like I said, that whole conversation for me was kind of like, you know what? I want to bring some attention to it because it is very real. And people don't understand. People are like, oh, don't be sad. Don't be upset. It don't work like that.
Right.
Man,
you can't tell somebody that's depressed, don't be sad. It's not the way it works. There's a lot of chemicals in your brain. I'm a big psych guy myself, Louie, so I understand.
Yeah. And that's all I was saying was I understand why AJ Brown, was being sensitive because of where he's coming from, but I didn't think that was the post to do it on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Literally, like we saw, and I think we brought this up, maybe we didn't, but Dallas played Seattle, and Jamal Adams gets mad at a reporter, right? Who
said something about his wife. I ripped him a new one for that.
Literally just posted the clip and said, "Whoa," right? And it was a great throw. It was an even better catch by the tight end Ferguson.
Yeah.
Cooked on the play. It's just a great throw and catch.
Yeah.
And the guy just said, "Whoa!" And he might not have been talking about Jamal Adams. He might have been talking about the throw and the catch. He might have been talking about the coverage. He could have been talking about it, but he just said, "Whoa!" Right? And he left it there. And he gets all pissed off.
He said something about his wife.
And it takes the smallest thing.
That was what he said. He said, "Yikes," because Jamal Adams' response was with his wife.
With his wife, yikes.
It was yikes.
That's what it was.
Yikes. Wow.
And I'm like, you're a bum, bro. You're a bum. You don't attack a man's wife.
Right. That's bullshit. Like, for me, that's on site.
Right.
I see you. It's on site at that point. You got something to say about my wife? I didn't bring anything personal into this equation, right?
Exactly. Don't bring my family into it. You got a problem with me, take it out of me. Go after me. Don't go after my family. I didn't like that.
And so again, these players see everything. Right?
They do.
They see everything. They may not respond to everything, but they see it.
They do see it.
If you catch them in the wrong headspace, they will respond. Jamal Adams was pissed off. That was a hard-fought game against Dallas. First thing he does, check his phone, sees that post, somebody DM them, yo, did you see this? Boom. Yeah. Now he's responding because he's emotional because they just lost. Same thing with AJ Brown. They lose that game to Seattle. He's emotional. He's on his phone, probably on the flight back from Seattle.
Whatever. Yeah.
He sees that post from LB, buddy ball. He picks that one phrase out, and now I'm pissed off. Now I'm gonna respond. And then at the end, he's like, When I make plays, y'all all happy, but when I don't, I get blamed for more stuff than it look like. And the Eagles fans like, yo, where's this coming from? You get blamed for everything.
Just to say this though, as a content creator, as everybody grow, you get these impressions, you get a lot of views, you get a lot of people looking for answers. So your responsibility sometimes be heavier than the 3-ladder or the 4-ladder networks, and that's why sometimes when I see players following me, I'm like, damn, because even though you want to give an objective point, then sometimes, you got to sway it just a little bit for the things that you guys said, because they're going to get beat up from a Cowboys perspective. They're going to get beat up from the 3-ladder, 4-ladder networks. When the Cowboys lose, you're going to have Stephen A. Smith make a video. You're going to have Shay Sharp pouring Hennessy in a cup and drinking it with his cigar. You're not going to have that with other teams when they lose. And that's just heavier. It's the crown that you wear. So, and then you're going to have other content creators picking and probing. So now that you have somebody that you follow like Law Nation, right? And even if I'm being objective with my takes, then they're going to say, hey, well, meet me outside then, bro. You know what I'm saying? hey, well, come, let's see about it, And all I'm going to say to her, yeah, I'll meet you there. I'm going to Charleston White you because I'm going to be suing, I'm going to take that all the way to the bank. But that's just how it is, man, in this modern day time with these social medias. And these players, they've been more and more on it. I just wish they can log off and get focused in.
Yeah. Well, you're right. They definitely do. Like I said, there's definitely a lot of players, coaches, whatever. I know they see it.
Yeah, they do.
I know they see stuff. They've listen, man. I've had stuff ripped from me. I always go back. It was a Yankee thing, but I always go back to Michael K.
Michael K. I remember you told me this story before.
Stole my video. Yeah. Stole it. I mean, he stole everything, word for word,
bar for bar,
word for word. What I said about the Yankees' struggles offensively and why they haven't been in the World Series and all that stuff. And I'm like, because somebody, I remember I was up in Lake George. We were out for the night. Me and my wife, my kid, just getting away from stuff. And somebody says, are you Michael K's friend? I'm like, Michael, what are you talking about? No. And he sent me the thing of Michael K saying, he goes, I got this from a friend. And he knows a lot about baseball. And then he literally did my own video. The video's on my page. I'm like, I'm going to show you that they hear what we say, that they take what we say.
Yeah. And
I'm not going to say I created the whole Danny Dimes thing, because who knows? But I can guarantee you there were definitely people that'd be like, Bear Duck's the first guy that said that. I never heard anybody else say that. He said it and they ran with it. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. I saw, just to close this, Cam Curl is a safety for the Commanders. And they gave up the touchdown to Cooper Kupp where he just blew the coverage. Like, literally, they turned him free. It's supposed to be cover 3. If you look at it, you see what the defender in the middle of the field and the defender on the other side of the field is doing. It's cover 3, right? And the corner on that side blew the coverage. Cam Curl was where he was supposed to be. The safety that's coming down in that particular set is out in the flats. That's where he was. And Cooper Kupp ran past him. So naturally, fans who didn't really understand the coverage just assumed he was in the wrong, because he just was the last one, to have any contact with him, was the closest one when he just ran down the sideline. But the corner was supposed to get the depth, right? We talked about it at the beginning of the show. Cover 3, deeper than the deepest, wider than the widest. Yeah. And sometimes guys just, for whatever, they call it MAs, right? He made an MA, right? The corner did. And the safety, so Josh Taylor is a content creator. And he does stuff like Bleacher Report and stuff like that. But he posted the clip, and he was like, he said, but it wasn't like LB. He said some pretty like straightforward negative shit. Like, he was attacking him, right? Right. So Cam Curl jumps in and is like, you would be the same dude that see me in person and want to be buddy, dap me up and be all, faking my face and then talking shit behind my back. You don't even, y'all, he said, that's what's wrong with y'all fans. Y'all think y'all know everything. You don't even know what we were in, right? Right. And then Josh's response to him was, neither did you, right? Ooh. Right. And I was like, when he said that, I said, damn. Like, I was like, God damn. But that's the kind of interaction where you're trying to avoid that. You know what I mean? Like that's what you don't want, you know. And if you're a player, like you're not gonna win jumping on social media.
You're not gonna win. You're not gonna win.
Right? Like nothing good is gonna come of that.
Correct.
Unless you're having like a healthy discussion. The likelihood of a player getting on and having a healthy discussion with a fan is like slim and none. The only time you're going to jump on and respond to a fan that you don't know is if you're upset about something they said.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you're doing that, it's never going to end well for you.
Nope.
You know?
Never.
It just doesn't benefit you any. But yeah, it's crazy, man. Crazy out here in these streets. I did a whole video on that, right? Like the game has changed. Like you post this shit on social media, you can't just assume that it's for you and whoever you know. No, anybody can see that, including the players. Right?
But I got one rule. I never tag the player.
Right.
I never tag the player. I don't even.
You looking for the smoke
good or bad. Good or bad. I never tag them.
You looking for the smoke if you do that.
Right.
Like if they come at you aggressively, you should get that because you tagged them. Like you asking for him.
You asking for. You looking for.
Yeah.
You know?
Like you said, good or bad. I don't tag players and stuff either. Like I just put it out there.
And I'm never a fanboy. Like I gotta get this picture. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, this me and Emmett. The greatest running back of all time.
Yeah, to throw that in.
You gonna get a picture of Barry Sanders?
Get out of here.
I saw.
We all know it. It's okay.
I saw Trent Williams. Like I'm not so for me. This is just a me thing. I'm not a fanboy. Like
right.
It's first of all of these players are younger than me. So I feel some type of way, like I'm not a grown man that's younger than me. Like you'll never catch me in a jersey. Like I just the only person I might flip out over was Scottie Pippen. Like that was my guy growing up. Like so if I saw Scottie Pippen, I might lose my shit. That'll be the only guy, right? But that was one like my dad and Scottie Pippen were my two idols growing up. Okay.
Oh, wow.
He's older than you though, too. He's not younger than you.
No, absolutely not. Right. So that's why I said that's the only person you can catch me fanboying out over. Like I saw Trent Williams. We were at a resort. He was checking in. I was in line behind him. I could have went up to him, got a picture, all that stuff. The season was still going on. He was actually on IR, right? He had surgery. So I could have talked to him. I was like, bro, I see a play. I've seen players before. I don't want nothing from them. I just acknowledge them. What's up, man? Keep it pushing, right? Like, I don't have to take a picture so I saw Trent Williams. Like, that ain't even how I move. You know what I'm saying? But, and I'm not saying that other people should move that way. If you see somebody and you want to be able to say, hey, I met such and such and take a picture with them, that's cool.
Right.
But, I just know how I am. Like, I know if I was famous, I would want my space. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want people... and that's why it's a credit to them.
Did anybody notice you like outside of YouTube? That ever happened to you?
Oh,
like Law gets it all the time.
He's a superstar. I already told Law. I don't know how he does it because I've been identified a couple of times. Right, the first time it scared the shit out of me because the person kept staring at me, and from where I'm from, like that's disrespect. Like, do you want something? Right? Like, so he kept looking at me, and I'm at the gym working out, and I'm like, bro, why does the dude keep staring? Because you can feel when somebody's staring at you, right?
Of course,
like staring a whole
eyes on you. Absolutely.
So I'm working out, and I'm trying not to look in that direction, but I'm like, I feel a set of eyes on me, like he's burning a hole through me. Like, what is this dude's deal, right? So he's walking towards me and he's still staring at me. And I'm about to like, yo, do you have a problem? Can I help you with something? I was about to get real, righteous.
Yeah, you about to get swole on him. Yeah.
He was like, man, are you Louie T? I'm like, oh shit.
Okay. Man, have your autograph?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, man. And then so on my show the next day, I told the story and I was like, if you ever see me in public and you think it's me,
just say so.
Just say so, man. Don't stare at me for 25 minutes because I'm like, I'm not always wrapped too tight.
Hey, Louie, it get better though, man. Sometimes you be at a restaurant and then you finna pay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but they don't think that I'm
that-
James
that
Harden. If
couple
they
over
see me
there.
at the restaurant.
That couple took care of you. I'm like, what couple? You know what I'm saying?
They
All them
thought
drinks.
you-
Let me order some
thought
more
you-
drinks.
They thought you was James Harden. That's
That's
what
what I'm
I'm
saying.
saying.
They didn't take you for anybody famous.
Hey, man,
They
you know,
thought you was James
drinks on
Harden. That's
me,
why they
you know.
did that.
Hey, I fooled around one time.
That's
too.
usually how it happens to me. That's usually what they say. They just look at me. Are you bad dog? I'm like,
You bad dog.
I
Yeah,
am bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
How does that make you feel when they do that?
Man, it's weird.
But it's actually humbling to me that
Yeah.
anybody takes time out of their day to go up and say, "Oh man, I love what you do. Like I'm a big fan of your content." For somebody to say they're a fan of me,
I don't even like using that phrase.
but that's what I say.
yeah.
Like I'm a big fan. I'm a fan of your content. Like I love what you do. And
Love what you do,
I
yeah.
appreciate that. So I've always said, if you ever see me in person, don't ever be afraid. Just come
Yeah,
up,
exactly.
talk to me. I mean, I'll talk your ear off about the Giants as long as I'm not in a hurry, which I usually am in a hurry because I don't have much time in a day.
New York, everybody's in a hurry.
Right. But yeah, I'm like, I'll talk about the Giants for a little bit, but it's I know it's
the craziest experience was I was at a Washington function, and most of those fans don't watch YouTube, right? Like those are the fans. I call them the no matter what fans. They're gonna support the team no matter what.
No matter what.
Right. So they're not watching YouTube. They're not interested in that. So I didn't expect anybody there to really know who I was. So I'm in the line because they had a line to talk to the team president, Jason Wright. So I was in the line to talk to him and kind of, rap to him for a second. And this dude comes up to me and he's like, "Yo, you Louie T, man. Can I get a picture with you?" I was like, "Yeah, man, that's what's up." So again, we took a picture. He's like, "My mom ain't gonna believe this. She watch you all the time too." So he texts his mom and says, "Oh my God, you'll never guess who I met." And she was like, "Who?" And he's like, "Louie T." She texts him back, "Get the fuck out of here."
Oh, wow.
He shows me the text message, and I'm like, "This is crazy." You know what I mean? Because his mom had to be probably in her 60s. Is my guess, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking at a dude. He's either my age or a little bit older, and I'm like, "There's no way that his mom watched me." But sure enough, she did. She did, and she knew who I was, and I was like, "That's crazy to me."
That's crazy,
that's what I mean. For me, it's crazy. Like I know when I went to the Giants game in 2019, I remember these two kids. They had to be 10 years old, 11, and they were looking back, and I saw them do this, and I'm just thinking they're waving at somebody behind me. I don't think they're looking at me.
Yeah.
I saw it at first, and I'm just because there's thousands of people there.
All right.
And then later in the game, the two kids turned around, and it was thinning out a little bit because it was getting near the end of the game. And they're like, "Bad dog, bad dog." I'm like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" And my buddy, DWG, is like, "It's insane, man." He's like, "People around here know who you are. Like, it's crazy." He's like, he goes, "I'm the guy that used to get that because he played basketball overseas. He was famous, all this stuff." He's like, he's like, "It's weird to see somebody else get that attention."
Yeah.
Right.
And I haven't been to a Giants game in 5 years. Meant to go a couple times, didn't get there. And Chris, my buddy and Athena, he goes, "I'm just going to tell you," he goes, "the next time you go to a Giants game, it's going to be much different for you because everybody's going to know who you are when you go there." So he's like, "It's not going to be a couple of dozen. It might be a couple of thousand people that know who you are."
I think that's the case for me. I haven't been to a Commanders game, obviously, since they were the Redskins. And they always ask me all the time, when you going to a game, when you going to a game, when you going to a game. And I told them, I don't know when I'm going to a game. If they get a new stadium, when they get a new stadium, I'll definitely be in the building then. But that's not for another decade, it feels like, right? Yeah. So I don't know, but I think you spot on, Bad Dog. Like the next time you go to a game, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah. So he told me, he goes, everybody's going to know. They're going to know you. They're going to want a picture. He goes, they're going to know who you are.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's why we're like, when are you going to Philly?
That'll be then we'll be able to
say Philly too. I'm like, I ain't going there. They're gonna mess with me. LB said, "Hey, not if you're with me."
Yeah.
I said, "I appreciate you, but you ain't catching me."
I don't think a lot of people realize how big LB is either, though. So,
LB up there too.
He is.
Then we'll be able to say, "Hey, Law, we know how you feel now, man."
Come on,
these games and get mobbed.
Right.
Mario, thank you for the
Mario.
It's a me.
Mario's a Mamma Mia.
Mario.
Thank you for doubling up. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes unbiased? I mean, better quarterback, not better team. I take Howell over Purdy. Stop, man. Stop it, Mario. You know I'm a Howell fan. Stop that, man.
Mario, sorry, but
Stop it. Stop it, Mario. Leader question. The tush push is a selfish play. It literally is taking money out of the running back's mouth. Thank you for that super chat as well, Mario. I mean,
I'm not going to say it's selfish. I mean, it's a play call, and you can't stop it.
You can't
stop it. Keep doing it until they stop it. That's how I look at it.
Literally.
I wish Dak and Prescott and company would have did against Miami.
Literally.
Right.
Literally, you were inches away from the end zone.
Yeah.
Literally. And you turned around and fumbled the damn ball. That's crazy. Literally, the Eagles head coach, Nick Sirianni, said, when they get the football, it's 1st and 9.
Yep.
It's 1st and 9.
That's wild. That's wild. Eagle speed, which the crazy part about that is it don't matter where they are on the field. If you let them get to 4th and 1, they're going for it. They could be at their own 27-yard line.
He's been generous. I think it's really 1st and 8. They can get 2 yards off.
Yeah, but you can't rely on 2. You know you're getting
one. You know,
right?
Yeah.
But we've seen them get 2 or 3 yards on the play, and most times they get about 2 yards on it.
Yeah,
right. But you can't risk that far away because you could get 1 and not get 2, right, and get stopped. But I've seen them go for it, like they did it against Dallas.
Yeah,
the first possession of the game when I said McCarthy dumbass should have challenged.
Right,
it would have been like they would have been like 4 yards short.
You talking about when they was in Philly,
the first possession, and everybody's seeing it like, bro, throw the challenge flag. He don't throw it, and they run the damn, brotherly shove, get the first down, go down, and score a touchdown. I'm like, yo, this dude is a clown.
I'm telling you, man, McCarthy be needing a snack on the sideline. Throw him a sneaker or give him a sandwich or something, man, because sometimes he just be sitting there dazed and confused. Like, get into the game, get more involved with it, bro. Hey, put the menu down. Hey, get into it, man. Third quarter, in third quarter, he goes to sleep and he wake up in the fourth. Like, all right, now we go. Now we can use CD Lamb. Now we can put Cavante Turpin in the game. I'm like, what's going on with you, Mike? Come on, send that man a sneaker.
Hey, look, man, that man said put the menu down. I know you was talking about his play sheet, but you come in the menu and you talking about the Hamburglar. Hey, that's funny. Eagle Speed, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes? Let's say you are starting a brand new franchise from scratch, and all you have right now currently is an owner and a general manager. No players yet. Who would you take as your coach to build a team from nothing?
Because you got to be current or past. Current coach.
He didn't specify.
Current coach Andy Reid for me. I think Andy Reid is one of the most underrated coaches ever. The man's a Hall of Famer. I of course when he coached the Eagles, I couldn't stand him. I always laughed when they didn't make the Super Bowl. I laughed when they lost the Super Bowl because I don't like the Eagles. But I was extremely happy for him when he won in Kansas City. And then obviously he went on to win another one. But I always felt like Andy Reid was extremely underrated as a coach. He's one of the best head coaches to ever coach. So that would probably be my guy. He was very successful in Philadelphia. He's very successful in Kansas City. And I don't think Pat Mahomes is the quarterback he is without Andy Reid. And I don't think Donovan McNabb was the quarterback he was without Andy Reid.
I'm looking at systems. I'm looking at system. A tree is known by the fruit it bears, right? So when you talk about, Andy Reid, of course, he got a good system from Andy Reid's system. But I'm looking at Shanahan's, I'm looking at how Mike McDaniel is number 2 in the offense, the number 2 defense, because of the system that they run. I know more so with Fangio.
Shanahan don't win.
Shanahan don't, but he get close. He don't have this situation whereas you look at it like it's stale though. So if you're gonna pick Andy Reid, then the next best thing is the Shanahan, because it's Sean McVay is from the same system. Ben Johnson, all of those boys. So I'm picking something like that.
First of all, I'm not gonna I'm here for all of the. I would defend Kyle Shanahan from here to Kingdom Come. Like, I would not stand for the Kyle Shanahan slander. I've been a big Kyle Shanahan fan since he was in Washington. You can say that he hasn't won a Super Bowl, accurate, but he's been to the Super Bowl multiple times as a coordinator and as a head coach. Now he hasn't won yet.
What happened in Atlanta?
A lot of people point to that. There were a lot of reasons he was a part of it. There were a lot of reasons why that lost.
Yes, Todd, don't throw there. Matt Ryan took a sack, stupid. But why are you throwing? Run the ball, game.
But hey, how many MVPs do Matt Ryan have without Shanahan?
Without him,
you know what I'm saying?
No, I'm not saying Shanahan's not a great coach. No, I would take the Giants any day, but I'm taking Andy Reid because he's won.
Right. But you didn't already pick Andy Reid, so I'm thinking like, if I got the next pick, then I'm picking somebody from that type of system, from that system. Yeah.
I'm taking Sean McVay.
Sean McVay.
I'm taking Sean McVay. I think he is
smart.
One, he comes from that Shanahan tree, so he knows how to scheme guys open. I think he's a master motivator. I think his energy is infectious. Players rally around that. He's won, right? Already in the Super Bowl. He's been to 2 already, right? Last year, he had been the coach of the Rams since 2017. Last year was the first time he had been under 500 in his career. Let that sink in. Like, the man has been a head coach since 2017.
They had a lot of injuries last year, too. The Rams. The Rams had a lot of injuries.
A ton of injuries last year.
But you do know that he's all-time 1-9 versus Kyle Shanahan.
Right.
That could be
that's because Shanahan knows all of his moves. They're like, I showed you those moves. Like it's like Nick Saban against all of his former coaches. They can't beat Nick. The only one that ever beat him was Kirby Smart.
Which is why, mind you, Lamar Jackson's 20-1 against the NFC in his career. One loss to Daniel Jones. Why? Who's the Giants defensive coordinator?
Wayne Martindale.
Oh.
Who was the defensive coordinator when Lamar Jackson was there?
Yeah.
If anybody knew Lamar Jackson.
I get your point. Yeah, I see where you're thinking.
So
it makes sense. That's why Shanahan owns McVay.
Because he knows every move you are going to make,
I can counter it.
I can counter it because
he's a couple steps ahead of him.
Yeah, I showed you that move. I know how to stop it. So, but I love Sean McVay, man. I think he's a guy that he just gets it, man. And another thing he's really good at, and I think Shanahan's great at it too, is identifying other young coaches that get it.
Yeah,
that's why you see San Francisco every time you turn around, they got to hire a new defensive coordinator. Why? Because their guy just got hired, Salah. And DeMeco Ryans, right?
They can hire Salah back because he ain't coming back with the Jets.
Let me ask y'all this though. So it's a good conversation. Who did Mike Tomlin develop? Who's coming out of his tree? Mike Tomlin by himself is solid, right? But a tree is known like by the fruit it bears. So who's coming out of Tomlin and John Harbaugh? Because those two guys been solid.
That's the biggest knock I have on Mike Tomlin is his inability to find other coaches that have talent, right? So early on when they won, there was Bruce Arians and it was Todd Haley. They both got jobs as head coaches, right?
True.
And Arians won a Super Bowl.
And won a Super Bowl, right? Since then, though, he hasn't been able to find another offensive coordinator with any chops of any ilk. He doesn't find young, innovative guys. He thought he had something with Matt Canada. That was an epic fail, and he stuck with it way too long, right? Harbaugh is another one where he doesn't necessarily develop talent or cultivate it, but he finds guys who are extremely loyal, and usually they stay on board for a lot longer than most coordinators who. He usually gets the veteran dudes though. Like he's not interested in finding the next young up and coming. He go get Cam Cameron or what was the
McDonald
Caldwell. Was Jim Caldwell was the coordinator there. Then he had a man from Buffalo for years who was there, who they just got rid of, Greg Roman, right?
Yeah.
Is the offensive coordinator, and so defensively. They had Wink for a while before, they fired him last year. He went, or 2 years ago, he went to the Giants. But he don't really. But now this McDonald kid he's got, Mike McDonald from Michigan.
Yeah,
he might get a job. Like,
shoot, he gonna be in there. Yeah.
Killing it. This
Number
year.
one scoring defense, number one turnover. Yeah, he gonna get some type of phone
So
call.
yeah, that might be the first time he's took a chance.
And if you smart, you would deny that. You would decline that. I think y'all need to get an offensive minded coach, but that's a whole nother conversation. But we're gonna
that's why I said we're going after Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson. Yeah.
If you're talking about all time, I think we will all go back in the archives and go get some of the best coaches from
Lombardi.
Yeah, I would go get Joe Gibbs. That would be mine.
I give my guy Jimmy Johnson, man. Shoot.
I think we will all go.
I'd get Bill Belichick.
Oh, you get Belichick?
Young Bill Belichick,
Yeah, we had young Bill Belichick, so hell yeah.
Nobody else is
No Tom Landry. We
had Tom Landry too. He came in the Giants.
Yeah, he came. He started with the Giants.
That was part of my hate video when I was talking crap about Tom.
Yeah.
You wouldn't exist without us because we gave you Tom Landry.
Y'all gave us the greatest gift of all time.
We did. We gave the Packers Vince Lombardi. We gave best coaches in the history of football came to the Giants. You want to talk about a coaching tree? Without question. We've had them all. Parcells, Belichick, Landry, Lombardi, you name it. They get Coughlin won 2 Super Bowls.
Do you count 8 Super Bowls? Do you count 8 championships like another Giants guy, or do you count the four that you got?
I mean, we have 8 championships, but
get out my face with that. 4 Super Bowls.
Okay,
the Eagles fans like we have championships.
I'm talking Lombardi.
Like the Eagles fans used to talk that shit when they didn't have a ring.
Carl Banks. Because Banks said he'd jump off sides every time and hit the damn quarterback or whatever. And some Eagles fans called him something. And I'm like, Carl Banks has more. I put 2. Carl Banks 2 with the trophy emojis greater than Eagles franchise 1. And someone's like, Eagles have 4 championships.
Yeah, exactly. I'm about to say with that Chuck Bednarik bullshit. Like, get the hell out of my face with that shit, man. Remember that's all they used to talk about when we
before 2017. We got
We got 4.
I would always tell the Eagle fans, I'm like, yeah, so what? We got 4 NFL championships. So we got you beat there too. So shut up.
Yeah. That's a quarterback war. 24/7 Cowboys with the $2 super chat says, do you guys think that the MVP will be the wide receiver, running back, or QB? It's a quarterback war, war now. So it'll be Lamar Jackson if he went out.
Pat Mahomes will have 2 big games in the end. They'll give it to him.
Yeah. It's a quarterback award, but I really think
maybe McCaffrey
should get it this year. I really felt like it was crazy how the narrative switched so quickly. Lamar wasn't even in the conversation until they beat San Francisco, right? It was literally, is it going to be Purdy or is it going to be McCaffrey, right? It was Purdy and then it was Dak, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those were the 2
guys. Wide receiver has never won MVP in the history of the NFL.
Jerry Rice came close, right? And he had 19, something like that.
Second, Elway in 87.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is we've seen some big years, but normally when you have a really big year receiver, your team sucks, right? Like,
true.
Like Calvin Johnson almost had 2,000 yards. They might have won 3 games that year, maybe 4. Right?
I think Tyreek Hill
they beat the Cowboys that year.
Tyreek Hill should be in the conversation.
If he didn't get hurt and he actually got to 2,000, how could you keep him out of that discussion? Yeah. But I don't think he's gonna make it to 2,000 now. And I think people might look at it a little bit different. I don't think they'll put an asterisk or anything next to it, but it is 17 games now, right? Like Calvin Johnson almost did it in 16. So. But that's
the thing. The receiving record for touchdowns is 23, right? Randy Moss did in 07.
Yeah.
But Jerry Rice did it in 12 games.
Yeah, because of the strike.
Because of the strike in 87. He played 12 games. He had 22 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And that boy was on fire that year.
And that's the crazy part.
His whole career. He's the greatest football player ever, in my opinion.
To you, he's the greatest football player ever.
Yeah.
You got him the greatest or one of?
He said the greatest. He said
I have LT second. I think Jerry Rice is the greatest player ever, without question. How many Super Bowls? 4 Super Bowls. His records still stand, and this is at a time when they didn't throw the ball the way they do now.
Right.
I can't argue. But I'm gonna just say this,
right? That's the whole point of an offensive player. He has the most touchdowns in the history of the NFL. He has all the playoff records. Yeah. All the Super Bowl records. He owns everything. He's the GOAT.
It was some of those dudes were different because like OJ Simpson, he rushed for 2,000 yards in a 14-game season. You know,
right?
And that record stood until Eric Dickerson broke it, right?
Yeah.
And so it's some of these records hit different when you think about it. Like, bro,
don't look at the games though with OJ Simpson. Look at the attempts.
Yeah, no, it was a different game back then. Though.
I do
feeding him the rock 30-something times.
How many attempts was it, man? How many attempts? It was crazy.
300, 360 or something.
Yeah, it's insane. But still, to get 2,000 yards, like running backs will never go number one overall. That was commonplace in practice in those days. Running back would be the number one.
You talk about how Barry was like hose, but I got to put LaDainian Tomlinson in that. When you saw LaDainian ran back in the days, it was just crazy good.
Adrian Peterson was
him and Adrian, but LaDainian gave you that like he's a cheat code. AP, he wasn't catching out of the backfield like LaDainian was doing.
But AP was just. He's the whole reason I'm a Sooner fan.
I'm about to say he's a Sooner fan, so it's gonna hit different.
Oh, it's gonna hit different.
No, I wasn't a Sooner fan. Was not until I never really had a college football team, but the first time I saw Adrian Peterson play, I just wanted to watch him play every week. I'm like, I got to see this kid play. Play. He's unbelievable. And I'm like, you know what? The hell with this. I just found myself rooting for Oklahoma. I'm like, I'm just going to be a Sooner fan. That's how I became a Sooner fan. Was him. He is just sick. Comes off a torn ACL. It comes 8 yards short of breaking
the record.
Yeah.
That's why.
Offensive line, no quarterback.
Insane.
Yeah.
He was
Morris Jackson was the starting quarterback, man. Like, understand what he did that year. They went to the playoffs, and Tavares Jackson got hurt. It might have been
what's that dude name?
Christian Ponder might have been.
Ponder, yeah. Christian Ponder.
Might have been his quarterback.
Adrian Peterson was insane.
And then they had the receiver Joe Webb, in the playoffs against Green Bay that year.
Yeah, quarterbacking.
Yeah. Quarterback dude. Yeah.
It was ridiculous what he did.
And everybody knew he was gonna run.
And everybody knew he was getting the ball. They would load the box up, 8-9 man boxes, and he still the danger in that was if he broke the first wave, he was gone.
He was gone because he ran 4.29 or whatever. He was like 6'2", like he's big for a running back. Running backs.
I'll never forget the play against the Browns. He's running down the sidelines. He literally stops in full sprint, hip tosses the defender out of bounds.
I remember that.
Literally stops, picks him up, tosses him, and then reaccelerates in 2 steps and scores a touchdown. I've never seen.
He is so ridiculous.
He took the whole Cowboys team one time. Everybody jumped on his back from the 5 or 6 yard line and took them all in for the touchdown. I said, man,
he was insane.
That
guy was insane.
And none of those dudes are better than Barry for me.
No, I agree.
Just like how like for me as a football fan, I became a football fan because of Barry Sanders, like the football fan that I am now, where I watched the entire league. I grew up a Redskins fan, but how I became a fan of the NFL and love watching everybody play was because of Barry Sanders on Thanksgiving.
Barry Sanders is probably my favorite non-giant. Like, it's between him or Wright.
Without question.
I love Barry
without question.
I know. Because we all anybody that knows it's not biased. Knows damn well Barry was way better than Emmitt Smith. It wasn't.
Emmitt scored touchdowns and he ran.
Law.
That was Detroit taking him the hell out of the game, which is stupid.
Yeah.
Law. Do I have to mute you?
No, mute me, man. But I'm just saying, I just Hey, Thurman Thomas was good. Barry Foster was good. All of those boys were good, But Barry Sanders did separated himself from all of those groups.
Have y'all seen the documentary on Amazon?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the documentary. I'm gonna watch it this week then. It's on Amazon. What's the name of it?
Yes, it's called Barry Sanders. Just I think it's just
I think it's like
I forgot the actual name of it, but it'll pop up. It just says Barry Sanders, and I forgot what it's like an hour and a half. It's
Run
great.
Barry Run or some shit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Man.
I just think him and Thurman Thomas are both at Oklahoma State
at the same time. What? You forget stuff like that.
Barry Sanders had 37 rushing touchdowns in Oklahoma State in 1 year.
In 1 years.
Insane, man.
Man, Barry was different, man.
Yeah.
Barry was different. Daniel Park, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Daniel writes, have a great new year, y'all. Hey, we appreciate you, Daniel, man. Thank you so much. Salute to you, my guy. Likewise, Samuel Valestin.
Oh, yeah.
My guy Samuel writes, what's going on, guys? Great stream as always. Bad Dog, what do you think the Giants can even offer Arizona if we truly want to bump up in the draft?
We would probably have to. Well, it depends on where we finish, obviously. But if we're fifth and we have to move up to second, my guess is we'd have to swap picks and probably give them next year's first. That's my guess.
And they'd probably want one of your seconds too.
I don't know if they would.
I would give them the Seattle second.
Granted, it's different now. But I remember the Jets when they took Darnold, they moved from 6 to 3, and they gave up the 6th pick. They swapped picks and they gave up 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if the Giants have to give up a second with the first. But I think you're starting with swapping picks and giving them next year's first.
Right. But the difference is
picks. So
the difference is you got the 3 teams behind you are all in the same boat you are. So
Arizona's going to ask for a lot.
They're gonna pit these 3 teams against each other. Like they're gonna call Washington and say, "Hey, look, if you don't come up from 3, New England's behind you. They've already picked up the phone and they've already offered me a swap and a first next year. I know you got 2 seconds. What's up, right? Yeah. Well, they'll call you first and say, "Hey, that's the deal." And then they'll say, "Hey, look, the Giants offer me next year's first, and they got the second from Seattle.
Yeah,
if you give me one of the seconds you got, because they both higher than that Seattle second, you got a deal, right? Like that's how they're gonna play us.
Yep, it's true.
So I think you're gonna have to sweeten the deal with an extra, because I mean, you look at what Carolina gave up. They came from 9 last year.
Yeah,
and what they give up? They swapped picks. They gave up a 1 this year, and I think a 2. But this was the difference. DJ Moore was looked at as an additional first round pick.
Yeah.
So you gave up 2 1s, if you look at it that way, and I think they gave up a 2 as well, right? Because I think that is why they were able to make the deal with the deal with us for Montez Sweat, because I think they still have Carolina's 2. I think, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But I know we're giving up next year's first.
Without question. That's what I'm saying. That's what
at the very least we'd give up this year's first and next year's first for number 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let me just say this though, for those who out there, man, far as the reason why I despise Barry Sanders. It was the year of 1992.
Okay.
January the 5th. Cowboys versus Lions in the divisional round. 38-6. Lions beat the brakes off my team. We had 2 fumbles. Troy Aikman threw a pick. Steve Burline was in there. He threw a pick.
Yeah.
And Sanders kept running. He's still running on us. 38-6. I couldn't stand that number 20. And I made it my life living dream that nappy-headed brother with that doggone scooting up field. So I always hate him. So I can't stand Barry Sanders from that 1992 game. That's why I can't stand Barry Sanders. He goes all the way back.
How are you not over that by now?
That was their first time in the playoffs with Jimmy, right?
Yep, 11-6 that year.
Yeah, they snuck. I think you snuck the Bears in the wild card weekend, right? If I'm not mistaken, that was an upset. And then you got to the division round. They smoked you, and then we beat the brakes off of them in the NFC Championship game and won the Super Bowl that year. And then after that, y'all went apeshit and won 3 out of the next 4.
3 out of the 4.
So, I mean, if anything, you should be thanking him.
Right.
No, we gave you the motivation to be great, right? If you want to be great, this is what you aspire to. This is what you got to do, right?
They were 13-4 that year too, by the way. The Lions were really good.
Well, 13-3. They didn't play 17 games back then.
Yeah. When they
that was in the Giants weekend.
After they won that
they were talking about the wild card.
Wild card game.
They won. Yeah, that's how they got the 13 wins.
13 wins. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Well, I think they had a bye because that's when 2 teams got buys.
Yeah, they had a bye.
We had a bye and they had a bye.
Yeah.
And they came off the bye and beat Dallas, and then we beat them in the AFC.
That 91 Redskins team was one of the best I ever saw.
One of the greatest teams ever in the NFL.
Yeah. Well, yeah, y'all was smoking.
If we didn't lose to Dallas that year, we would have went undefeated. Because we rested our starters in the final game because we didn't need it. Because we weren't undefeated. We weren't chasing, being undefeated anymore. But that team, I think we had 3 shutouts that year. Like, it's so hard to shut a team out in the NFL these days, but it was crazy to do it. To just think about it, how rare a shutout is in the NFL, right? To do it 3 times in one season, that's crazy. It's wild, man. I
think they probably mentioned that this coming game, when they put Jimmy in the Ring of Honor, they probably mentioned that from a storyline of what really started the dynasty or what have you. They might mention that this week. Since we playing the Detroit Lions,
Jimmy was a beast.
Yeah,
gotta give him. I'm glad he finally getting in, man. He deserves it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was the last super chat. We want to thank y'all for coming in, chopping it up with. It's still over 600 of y'all in here, man. We appreciate y'all. We
marathon
4 hours in rather, and y'all still supporting us this long. So we appreciate each and every single one of y'all for the support, man. And as so many of you have already wished us a happy new year, we want to extend the same on behalf of the entire Super Friends, NFC Super Friends. I want to extend that happy new year's to everyone. Be safe out there, but enjoy the new year, bring it in with those you love. And we look forward to chopping it up with y'all on the other side of the New Year's, bringing y'all the same heat that y'all have come accustomed to from the NFC East Super Friends. With that said, on behalf of Bad Dog, Law from Law Nation Sports, LB, who couldn't join us tonight, and myself, Louie T, all of y'all take care. God bless, and good night.
Good night.
Peace.
Peace. Yes, indeed.